jealous of my sister's marriage, so I tried to find dirt on her husband.
That's the only way to get back at her.
Yep. My sister and her husband always seem to have a good marriage. They've been together for around a decade. But you never really know, right? She's like, they seem to be happy, but you never know. They could be really unhappy. I should look into it. And TBH, I thought they were just pretending. Since I've never had a relationship that was super good in private.
Oh, no.
Girl.
Oh, no.
Girl. She was like, I've never been in love with anyone, so no one else can be.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
Well, now I do know. I've been living with them for 3 months. They took me in when my ex cheated on me. Oh, they do nice things for each other all the time, and it's like they don't even think about it. This is so sad. It's just natural. By the way, this comes from Damn the Hallway on the OK Storytime subreddit. So they're always bringing each other little presents. My ex called me shallow when I wanted him to give me even a cheap present for my birthday.
Oh, no.
Their eyes light up when they look at each other. My ex looked at me like I was a potato.
Oh, gosh.
This is so depressing. They hug each other as though they haven't seen each other in months whenever one of them gets home. My ex ignored me when I got home, wanted me to leave him the F alone to effing relax whenever he got home. They encourage each other's hobbies and outside friendships. My ex hated my friends and thought my hobbies were stupid. Worse yet, I can tell they're holding back when it comes to being affectionate around me. I'm afraid. I arrived home early from an event one day and saw her sitting in his effing lap while they watched TV and he played with her hair. The stuff I see is apparently just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how much they like each other.
This is...
OP, you need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
You need to go to therapy real bad.
Invest this time and effort into a good therapist.
It's something else. This is unhealthy.
Oh, man.
They've even been through some of the tough crap. Deaths, a miscarriage, job losses that can tear couples apart, but they made it through just fine, I guess.
Oh my God.
I honestly didn't think relationships like this were real. I thought it was Hallmark BS and that all relationships were miserable, hard work once you get past the honeymoon stage.
Dude, I can feel the green in this story.
Oh my goodness.
The ivy.
Ivy green jealousy.
Ugh.
I couldn't believe it. So I snooped on her husband, Max. It turns out his private communications are fine. He had conversations with female friends, but they were only platonic. And he even talked about how much he loves my sister, Sandra. Anyway, I felt extremely guilty about snooping that I confessed. They forgave me.
You're just
living with saints.
Yes.
Oh my God. My sister took me out for the day without Max and told me she'd been in crappy relationships before Max, which I already knew, and that she thinks they helped her learn how to spot red flags so that she'd be available when the right person for her finally came along. She's also gone to therapy for a long time, and she says it helped her learn how to make healthy relationship choices / be a good partner.
Nice.
Max and Sandra offered to pay for me to get therapy. My insurance isn't great, so that's nice. I just want to find something like what they have. There is a silver lining, though, I guess. Now that I know this kind of relationship isn't a childish fantasy, I don't think I'll ever be able to put up with somebody like my ex again. And that's what being around good relationships is all about.
I really don't want to read this update.
I hope the update's better.
I'm honestly kind of terrified.
I'm really scared. But in my perfect world, the OP's sister and her husband or fiance or whatever, they're like happily married, and OP found someone
and they go
who
on
treats her well.
Double dates together.
That's what I'm hoping for here. But there is an update. I'm not sure exactly where to start, so I'm going to use a list format and just write stuff in whatever order it comes to mind.
Oh no.
I've started therapy very soon after my post.
Okay.
My first therapist wasn't great, so my sister Sandra encouraged me to find another. And my second one was awesome.
Okay.
I'm still seeing him once every 2 weeks. He's helped me a lot with healing from the trauma of my last relationships and also learning how to relate to others in a more healthy way in every part of my life. He also really helped me learn how to manage bitterness and jealousy, finding the underlying causes and working on those. I moved out of my sister and brother-in-law's house after a couple of months.
Okay.
Literally saints.
Okay.
They were literally saints. It turns out that my sister and brother-in-law were secretly livid about the snooping. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
But they appreciated that I confessed on my own and decided to be kind and help me. Legitimately saints.
Oh my gosh.
They decided that if I took advantage of the help they offered and put effort into being it better, they would forgive me.
Okay.
I didn't realize how close I was to making my sister go low contact with me. Thankfully, I did take their help. I'm not upset seeing how loving my brother-in-law is to my sister anymore. I'm happy for her. They became foster parents after I moved out and are now in the process of adopting the little girl they've been fostering. They're literally the perfect people to be nurturing a traumatized child. They're doing so great. And the little girl, Maddie, is doing so much better than when she was first placed with them. Angels!
Oh my gosh.
She's an amazing girl, and she and my sister and brother-in-law are so lucky they've all found each other. We're so lucky that you found us. And you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile. What a beautiful story. And there's a little bit left.
This is amazing.
What a beautiful story. Everyone's so great.
I didn't know this existed on Reddit.
I didn't know either, but freaking positivity is in the air.
Literally thought she was going to update that the brother-in-law was cheating all along.
But no, we're safe.
We're all good.
Safe. I've been single the whole time. That was on purpose. A few months ago, though, I determined that I'd be open to dating again. I didn't want to actively do anything, no dating sites, but I decided I wouldn't purposely avoid dating anymore. A week ago, a guy I became friends with at an animal shelter I started volunteering at about 6 months ago asked me out.
Nice.
I said yes. Our first date was great. He's very kind. He's the kind of guy you go to if you need to calm down a traumatized, terrified animal. He cleans poop-coated animal carriers without any complaint. My sister approves of him. He's very funny too. So that's the update.
That was beautiful.
That was the best story we've ever read.
Really, honestly.
Damn. I mean, I don't even have any thoughts on that. That's
speechless.
great. You figured it out, man.
I'm so proud of you right now,
I
OP.
love you, OP. And don't you forget it.
Yeah, you made a mistake and you claimed up to it.
And you corrected it.
And then you went to therapy.
And then you found a new guy who loves you.
Wow.
Perfect story.
Put that in a book.
But that's the end of that perfect story. So we'll see you next time.
We're going to read another one.
My pregnant sister is trying to take over our shared house. I need to get out of here. You need to put her in her place.
Yeah. Sorry, don't see your name on the lease.
Yeah.
Looks like you got to leave.
I, female 35, moved across the country, Canada, with my son, male 14, and my dog to start anew. I asked my sister, female 36, to join me in the city. She lived in a small town 2 hours south from where we live now. I accepted a job offer, as did my sister, and we signed a 3-year fixed rental agreement in a 3-bedroom house. By the way, this comes from CLuck8537 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So my sister and I are very different people. We have a complicated but supportive relationship. We have a lot of love and respect for one another. We also have some on and off codependency issues from our childhood. Things were going well for the first few months. We were transitioning into this dynamic, and it wasn't always easy, but we found systems and ways to make it work. Everything changed 3 months ago.
Oh no.
My sister met a man.
Oh, it's always a man.
It's always a man. And conceived on her first date.
All right.
Girly protection.
Not waste any time.
The baby is due in April. It's a welcome surprise. My sister is experiencing a difficult start to her pregnancy, insomnia, stress, thyroid issues. We have not been getting along. My son and I can do nothing right. It's the little things compounded. My sister is also quite entitled, openly expresses and reinforces this attribute with humor. In her pregnancy, it's been worse. There's little to no consideration. For example, she's struggling with the sound in the house. She leaves her door open for her cat and refuses to wear earplugs. Instead, she demands for my son and I to vacate the living room and kitchen at 8 p.m. because she can hear us. I don't get home until 7 p.m. and need to make dinner. Another example is that I had been giving her upwards of $600 per month in groceries. I have a lot of allergies and she wouldn't accommodate these allergies, so I would often need to eat alone and buy additional groceries. It hurt hurt me to learn that she had her groceries supplemented by the father of her unborn child, meaning that she had been asking for money for groceries that were already paid for.
What?
My salary is less than my sister's and I have a dependent. She decided that the child's father, male 36, would move into this house with his dog and his cat and sleep in the foyer at the top of the stairs without consulting with myself or my son. This area of the house is not closed in. It's positioned above the living room/kitchen, an area that my sister has already deemed inaccessible between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. and also between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. My son and I are starting to get forced into our bedrooms off the entry hallway. They split up 2 weeks ago and he's still moving in. He's a bit of a dirty guy and my sister is type A. To put things into perspective, she has cleaned out his house and his 2 storage units in the last 3 months. He's not much of a cook or a cleaner. She said that I'm lucky because I get a benefit financially from this. I'll pay less in rent and I don't even deserve it. Those were her actual words.
Wait.
You're paying for her. You've been paying her food.
You can't say you don't deserve this.
This is ridiculous.
What?
I actually like the guy. I don't like the way my sister treats him, but he's a nice guy. I moved for a lot of reasons. My son was experiencing anxiety and self-esteem issues around his father, never married, separated after birth of our son, in and out of the picture, whom had drained our collective savings account for the kid's education because of addiction. I wasn't able to secure a suitable salary with my education to get ahead. To be fully honest here, my sister and I had a hard upbringing. The only reason I stayed in our hometown was so that my son had access to his father, and well, a time came where his father's absence would be more beneficial than his presence. I moved so that we could start a new life and have peace. We are not experiencing peace.
Yeah, I have no peace.
No peace. I confronted my sister about the use of communal spaces and that she would have to find solutions to limit the way sound affected her. I confronted my sister about shared bills and have asked her to post the bills on the fridge and that we would no longer be splitting most groceries. I confronted my sister that I'm not entirely comfortable with someone moving in here. It's not within the rights of our lease, and we would need to communicate this with the landlord and ask to break the lease. My sister's response to everything has been emotional, reluctant, and avoidant. She simply cries, yells, and walks away. She claims that I am abandoning her. She sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. You actually don't deserve her being very nice to you with the way you're treating her.
No. I feel exhausted, exploited, and manipulated. It's affecting my work, my personal life, and my ability to enjoy life. My son is experiencing some anxiety too. He has sports and extracurricular most days after school, and I am adamant to discuss adult things without my son there. However, he has witnessed some arguments and knows that we are not getting along. I want to leave the situation. I know I have to. I feel like I'm abandoning her, not just because she tells me so, but because everything is crazy and I want to leave. I didn't sign up for this. I didn't agree to live with my sister, her estranged ex-boyfriend of 3 months, and his 2 pets. I don't know where to start, how to do this. I know I need a couple of months to save up first and last, edit, remove some details to keep privacy intact, and there is an update. But before we get into that, what are your thoughts?
We're going to do the legal way, the nice legal way, or the spiteful, petty, illegal way?
Well, let's start with the legal way.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take longer.
Well, it might not take too long if you go to your landlord and you're like, hey, my sister wants to do this. And then the landlord goes to her and says, like, you can't do that or I'll sue you.
Yeah, this is not fun. Illegal way.
Illegal way.
So,
fun way.
What we do is get rid of the dogs one by one and we give them to
a
nice home.
Okay.
A nice home.
Woo!
You were a monster. You would think
I thought you were a monster. I was like, what?
I thought that, but I was like, that's too mean. And then I went nicer. So I switched it. So we get them to a nice home. They're abandoned. The boyfriend gets mad at the girl.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you let my dogs out.
You let my dogs out. Why did you do that? Do you hate me? And then you get some hair strands from your friends, put it in his car.
But they're not together.
Cheating on me?
No, they're not together.
Oh, they're not.
They're not together.
The sister and
they're separated.
The boyfriend.
They're like, no, they're broke up.
They broke up. Okay,
they're just living together.
Well, make it look like he's bringing girls there. Get the sister super pissed.
Yeah.
And then the guy leaves after that. Then we work on the sister, somehow get her arrested. Boom. You're good.
And there you have it.
There you
Some
go.
great advice from Riley.
There you go. That's how you do it.
But there is an update. And this one seems pretty juicy. Possible sister who has found the OP post. Poor Pid Noir. Hello, everyone. Entitled 36 female sister here. Just thought I'd give y'all my side of the story because no matter how flat you make a pancake, there are 2 sides to every story.
Whoa! What?
Ooh-wee.
No.
Ooh-wee. I love two
No.
sides. 1, I do not demand that my sister and nephew vacate the living room at 8 p.m. The request has always been, even before I was pregnant, to be quiet after 10 p.m. as I have to wake up at 6 a.m. for work every day. Very reasonable, albeit pretty difficult, when my sister has this one friend that invites himself over, gets wasted, and can't drive home, then sleeps in the living room snoring like a trucker all night. When I ask my sister to ask him to leave, after he's sober of course, she says, "You're the one who wants him to leave, you ask him." But I guess I possess sole autonomy of the shared living space, so 2, she doesn't get home at 7 p.m. every night. She works from home 3 out of the 5 days a week. She does meal prep on weekends and has not cooked supper for her or her son on a weekday in almost 2 months. 3, she has not given me a dime in grocery money since late July, early August. We used to split the grocery bill 50-50. Then she decided that her diet was too complicated, so she wished for us to switch to buying our own groceries.
Probably turned like pescatarian or something and didn't want to pay for
Something
meat.
really hard. I have been purchasing my own groceries since then. I found out I was pregnant on August 22nd, and by suggestion from my sister as a type of child support, I started accepting groceries from my partner in mid-September. I have also shared this food with both my sister and nephew when they run out of essentials. He paid for 90% of the beautiful Thanksgiving feast we all just shared together on Monday. $600 per month? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And then C. Luck responds, "I'm sorry that mom taught you that lying helps you get away with things in life. I'll keep praying that one day you're cured of this disease." Woo! 4, my sister suggested that my partner move in to help with expenses. It was her idea, not mine. I exclaimed that he's a slob. I'm nervous. I hate his dog. We're not an established couple. It will affect the dynamic in the house, etc. She stated it's likely still the best decision to make for my baby. So I relented and invited him to move in. I believed up until today that I still had her support on this decision. Ironic that the post casts me as the poor communicator who cries, yells, and walks away when I have not heard a single word about her not wanting him to move in until now. Anyway, I don't really care to win over Redditors at this point. I haven't even read any comments. It doesn't matter to me what y'all think, only what my sister thinks of me. It's so bad that she thinks she has to hide in her room or that I don't listen, and that she has to fabricate a story online to get some affirmations from absolute strangers. Sad how the situation has devolved because I love her and her son more than anything in the entire world. Remember, kids, communicate with your loved ones about your problems. Don't believe everything you read online, and always use protection.
I'm not really sure.
The thing is that we don't have any evidence on either side. We just have their word.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to know who's telling the truth. I feel like whenever we get a second person's side, it's always kind of the feeling to like be like, oh, well, they must be telling the truth. But it's like,
yeah,
literally both people could, you know.
And then it makes me overthink every story we've heard.
Yeah.
And taking everything they said for truth and
like,
not even
maybe
questioning
they were lying
it.
to me the whole time.
Yeah.
It's tricky. Commenter 1, have the guy take over your lease and leave before the real madness starts. OP says, I think this is the best route. I had originally pitched this idea and my sister had said he wouldn't move in. A month passed and she decided he would move in. I originally said that I would stick it out until June, marking 1 year on our lease, but I just can't stick it out that long. My work and mental state are suffering too much. Edit, in all fairness, I have been fickle agreeing to this arrangement and disagreeing with the arrangement of the father to be moving in. It's difficult to think about my son or myself when I can clearly see my sister is in so much distress. Despite all the comments here about her being awful, she's still my sister and I love her. I will continue to support her, but on my terms. Her feeling abandoned is valid to her because that's how she feels and she's afraid. It's not as easy as walking away. I want our relationship to get better, not worse.
Okay, so...
She's like really doubling down.
OP is bettering herself because her diet, trying to support a kid, all this stuff. And I think they may have had like a lifestyle kind of split. Mm-hmm. And she's now not wanting to deal with things that the sister's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I give OP the pass here.
I don't know what to believe. They're telling me two different things. Commenter 2 says, you never agreed to live with someone who treats you like crap. She has zero respect or regard for your needs or your son's needs. She is choosing to ignore your feelings at every turn. As soon as you possibly can, give her 30 days notice that you and your son are leaving. In the meantime, do what's best for you and your son, not necessarily what she has decided she wants you to do, such as changing your habits and staying out of common spaces. Commenter 3 says, are you abandoning her or are you prioritizing your son and your own well-being? When someone tells you you're doing something wrong, examine what they have to gain from this narrative. Your sister is manipulating you, defrauding you of grocery money, infringing on your reasonable enjoyment and expectations of peace in your home, and blaming you for it all. She is not a good sister, I'm sorry to say. Please go to the landlord, let them know she has moved in another adult who isn't on the lease, and asked to be let out. And there is an update, and I'm really hoping that OP addresses the sister's comments, because I need more refute.
I need a neighbor. I need the guy. I need
someone.
the son.
I need a third party.
I need a third party that has no bias to either of them.
Actually, they're both lying. And then you were like, oh my God. Posting on Reddit was an absolute wake-up call. My sister found the post. Ooh. Her and her ex totally berated me in a government building conference room after hours. When I was adamant about moving out, things got substantially worse. My sister decided he would not move in, and we would both move out. I notified the landlord to give him 60 days notice. I found a place for myself and my son. It's within my budget and absolutely perfect. With an exit in sight, things were starting to become tolerable. Come mid-November, there was still the issue of shared assets. So I braced the difficult conversation with my sister via text requesting to set a date and time to discuss things. Her actual reply was, "Suck my wiener, I'm blocking you."
Okay, not helpful.
I remember being shocked. That was actually out of character. My son and I got in late that night to find that the internet password had been changed with a message on the chalkboard that as soon as I dropped the topic of shared assets and prepay the upcoming electric bill, she would not reveal the Wi-Fi password. We live in an area without cell coverage, so I couldn't even message my sister to call her out. I'm not proud, but I went to the garage and unplugged the router and locked it in my truck. When she came to me, she was furious. I can hardly remember what she said now. What I can say is that she was very cruel and nearly violent. In that verbal vomit, she said, "You have no idea what I've been through. I miscarried." Oh. At that point, I asked her to give me a few minutes to process. I left shortly after with my son and my dog, leaving the router on the porch. I'm embarrassed to say that I offered to stay the night and keep her company. I realize now that in order to support someone, we have to ask ourselves if this is safe, if we have the capacity to offer support, and if this person has the capacity to accept support. She halfway apologized a couple days later. After that, she grieved independently and almost silently. My son and I grieved independently from her, being careful to follow her direction and boundaries of not talking about it. Weeks felt like months. The house was cold. Any level of contact or coordination was the beginning of a fight. In therapy, I started to unpack the events over the last year. I learned a great deal about myself, mostly in regards to my self-integrity. I've come to understand my role in perpetuating her controlling behaviors, my lack of self-esteem, which snowballed under our shared roof, leaving me in a state of ambivalence and complacency. I recognize the ways in which my sister held little to no regard to my autonomy, often using emotional manipulation to force my submission. I know this is abuse. Know that when she got cold, I got colder. I am not innocent in all of this. Someone once described us as an immovable object meeting an unstoppable force. I think there are times where we play either role, but there are also times where you can listen to full episodes with stories like this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left, but we still really don't know who's telling the truth.
Yeah, now
I'm like back on OP's side a little bit.
Me too.
I honestly agree with you though. I think they're both a little bit fibbing. There's a little bit of fibs.
They are.
Because
you saw how, okay, she changed the Wi-Fi password. I go to this.
Yeah.
She definitely. And did you see how she made it seem so seamless? Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, she changed the Wi-Fi password. So I just locked it in my truck and unplugged it.
Yeah, it's like
Silly
these raising the stakes of everything. And
yeah, they raised them, but don't make them seem like they are raised.
No, yeah.
So that.
I think there's probably some trouble on both ends of these sisters.
You know who I'm really worried for, though?
What? The son? Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like, we already know that he's experiencing anxiety. And if we have problems coming from both the mother and the sister, or from both OP and the sister, it's like, must be really hard as like a young kind of kid.
Yeah, because kids know when there's stuff happening in the room.
And also a lot of times people like this will try and go to other people and say like, oh, you're on my side, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that OP's probably been doing that to the kid, of being like, oh yeah, like your your auntie's crazy. And it's like, okay. Yeah. But there is a little bit left. I carry deep compassion and love for my sister and remain forever empathetic. I remain optimistic that she will come to understandings of her own that will reunite her with her humility. I am terribly sorry for her loss and often find myself worried about her well-being. I have hope that in time we can build a stronger, more sustainable dynamic. I am painting my bedroom at my new place, even with my son on the other side of the country this holiday. I feel at peace here. I wish my sister had peace too. A day will come where we can overcome some of these hardships, but that day is not today. And there are some relevant comments to finish this story off. Commenter 1 says, you lived together for 3 months and you need to discuss the shared assets you acquired in that time frame? Okay, lol, something seems weird. Your sister didn't change her mind about her ex. You did with your relentless arguments. Oh, you started the battle for control by dictating who could live with your sister. OP says, I mean, we moved across the country with nothing. Furniture, tools, dishes, even the pantry and cleaning supplies. All these things add up. When everything is a fight, you have to discuss the right to take the rake if you leave the shovel kind of thing. Commenter 2 says, sounds like a lot of mess and hurt on both sides. You did the best with keeping distance, having therapy, and living in peace with your son. You're so nice for being optimistic about your relationship. I hope the same too, that eventually you both find peace. Opie says, thanks for being kind. I'm keeping myself busy with my new place, trying to distract myself. And commenter 2 says, good. I hope your life gets better without your abusive sister in it. I kind of want to address how you felt that you were equally at fault for the fighting. I think it's completely normal to label your reaction to her abuse as being just as bad, but I also want you to recognize that your sister sounds bat crap crazy. I realize that saying you were at fault is a way for you to reclaim autonomy, but as an outsider, no. Emotional abuse will push you to great lengths for a reaction just so they can say that you're as bad as they are. I'm sure there's a lot of unhealthy family dynamics that you will unpack in therapy. Good luck healing and give yourself space and grace. Obi says, thanks for saying this. I feel like I am just scratching the surface in terms of my trauma response. I'm not fully accepting the abuse that took place, but am working towards it. Because my sister and I had a very difficult upbringing, we have been very much entangled. She's the only family I have, so it very much feels like a loss. I do agree with you that my sister was the and I was simply reacting. This I know to be true. I'm just not sure of my reactions at this time. Anyways, thanks for saying this.
I really don't know what to think.
I still don't know what to think. I still think they're probably both. I mean, I don't know if I completely agree with that commenter based off of everything that we know.
Yeah.
But also maybe OP was in the right, didn't do anything wrong.
I feel like there's abuse on both sides.
Yeah.
I don't know who to believe because OP did the thing with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And also.
And probably is also, from what we know of the sister, maybe OP's leaving some stuff out.
That's what I'm thinking because the sister brought up.
I think they're both leaving stuff out.
The sister brought up that she convinced her to move the partner in.
Yeah. And OP never kind of said anything.
Never addressed that. That's what I want to know. And they keep talking about what another person's doing rather than owning up to one another.
Yeah.
And I see OP on the grind of bettering herself with her diet. It seems like she's doing like therapy and getting that stuff figured out. But I don't know.
I don't know. I think so. Someone's lying, and I think maybe both of them are lying, actually. But that is the end of the story. Let us know in the comments who you think is right, if either of them are.
My husband spoke sternly towards my sister, and I actually agreed with his decision.
Agree to disagree.
Ooh.
Do you like that one?
Ooh, I do. I like that. Compare and contrast. Let's hear him. Let's go. So, context, my younger sister and I did not grow up together. We have the same biological mom, but she was put up for adoption as a baby, and we are 9 years apart. I found her on Facebook and tried to be a big sister to her, but maybe I failed? I don't have any other younger siblings. And by the way, this comes from a deleted user on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So my younger sister that I've only had a relationship with for 6 years just had a baby last year. She doesn't know who the father is, but it's between two guys, one of which she actually likes, and I've told her that he doesn't like her.
So she told him about a few weeks into her pregnancy that he could possibly be the father. He then proceeded to ghost her and block her on all social media. Hid the fact that he had a 4-year-old child with another woman that he was trying to get back with, which she found on his social media. And anytime she tried to contact him on social media, he continually blocked her every single time. So anyone would reasonably assume that this man did not like her and wanted nothing to do with her, and yet she wanted to make excuses for him. It's the same old tired story of a well-meaning young woman being taken advantage of but thinking she can change a man. But a loser is a loser, and I told her as much. And I suggested that she focus rather on a paternity test when the baby is born. Not so much to prove to him, since he's not interested, and I had no confidence that he would step up, even the baby was his, but for the baby's sake.
Think of the children.
Think of the child.
You must think of the child.
Yeah. I personally know what it's like to live most of your life not knowing exactly who your biological father is. I found mine by accident after 30 years when I wasn't even looking. You know, that's kind of how it always is. You find love when you least expect
When you
it.
least expect it.
Sometimes
right?
it's romantic love. Sometimes it's fatherly love. Thank you, 23andMe. And he didn't even know I existed, but that's a different story. I even offered to pay for the paternity test, the legal version that you can use in court, not the cheaper option at home, because she quit her job when she was 8 months pregnant. She was living in her adopted mom's house, and she had absolutely no plans to go back to school or seek gainful employment outside of working in a fast food to move out and raise her baby. Her adopted mother is elderly and sickly too, so she's not a long-term option at all, and Connecticut is very expensive. I was worried I expressed that worry, and she took the offer initially, but later declined. I think she realized that going to court and establishing paternity would either crush her if the baby isn't his, or put her in a situation where she doesn't have the final say about the baby if he decides to get involved but not want to be with her.
You know what? This might be a hot take, but at the end of the day, I think like regardless of who the biological father is in this situation, because it's like a coin flip, whichever one is the better partner, make that one the dad.
It might have been too real for her, and she ran. She said she didn't think it was best for her baby, and I don't understand it, but that's her baby, and I do, and I had to respect her decision. She gave birth early last year, a beautiful, healthy baby, and I fly across the country to come and see her and meet the new family member. She was about 2 weeks postpartum at the time, and she was itching to spend $500 to go to a concert in the next week or two. I said nothing about that. I've never given birth, so I don't know what is or isn't appropriate when you're postpartum. I was just happy that her and the baby were doing well, and I hope she had fun. So I flew home. Now here's where things turned left. But before that, the second piece of context is needed, and I promise. So second context, my husband and my sister-in-law are 11 years apart. Him older and she's early 20s, and he practically parented her. Single mom, had to work, preteen, left alone to babysit most nights. We babied this girl. She was a princess that wanted for nothing. We supported her financially through college, helped pay her rent, even co-signed on her lease for her first apartment. Then after she moved in with us for a short while, trying to move closer to the city, she turned around and got knocked up by a young man who was couch surfing and whose first name she didn't even know. When we found out and tried to find out who this young man was and try to see who his family was, etc., she had the nerve to feel offended that her family dared to ask reasonable questions so we can help her hold that man accountable. She kept the baby. That was her choice, and we had no opinion about that. Her body, her choice, and all that. We never even discussed it. But to say my husband was livid with her would be an understatement. We also found out that she was lying to us and to my mother-in-law and manipulating both sides to give her money for the same thing without the other knowing so she can pocket it. So also, to be clear, this is a story within the story. This is context story.
This is like a bubble inside of a bubble.
Yeah. Also used my credit card without permission. It was a mess. My husband called her everything but a child of God. Told her that she better not ask us or her mom for anything. We're not babysitting. We're not buying a diaper. And she better go find that loser and figure things out if she wants to treat us like dirt beneath her feet for caring. And that was that context over. So now we're getting back into the real story.
Yeah.
That's the context story.
The interior bubble has popped.
The interior bubble has popped. We're in main story
We're
territory
on main
now.
bubble.
So I fly home after visiting my sister and the new baby, and my husband asks me how she's doing, and I tell him she's doing great. The baby is fine, healthy, and she's even going to go to a concert soon to see a famous R&B singer. expensive tickets. So everything was good. She was in good spirits and we were both happy for her. I had known about the paternity question since she was a couple weeks pregnant, but I did not tell anyone, not even my husband. I decided to let it play out how it does, and we'd figure it out when the baby came. So again, this is like this is OP basically saying like, we don't know who the father is. It could be one guy or the other. We're just gonna let it play out. I'm not gonna put pressure anyway.
Well, there should be some pressure to figure out who the actual father of your child is. But then at the same time, I don't think if the actual father is garbage, that you necessarily need to, like, just because it's like, oh, well, that's what makes sense. It's like, if he's already being like, I'm going to block you on every platform multiple times and I'm going to ghost you and I don't want anything to do with you, then that guy doesn't want anything to do with his child either. So he doesn't deserve to be with his child.
But when my husband asked me how the baby's father feels now that he has a new baby, I told him I haven't met him yet. But then a few days later, maybe it was a week, she texted me and asked me for money. Didn't say what it was for, but she asked for about $100. I was actually taking a nap at the time, and my husband grabbed my phone to get one of those 6-digit auth codes for one of our accounts when her text came through. He was confused as to why she was asking me for money when I just told him that she was buying expensive tickets to a concert, and he scrolled up to see that I had sent her Apple Pay money several times before with little context or conversation. And he was concerned given what recently happened with my sister-in-law, because she was taking money before, that she was only reaching out to me whenever she needed money. And in hindsight, I was the one always reaching out to her to genuinely catch up. And she did, in fact, primarily reach out only when she wanted something, which is a whack behavior. So he woke me up and asked me about it, asked me where her man was and why I was spending so much money on her. So I told him about her being spotty with employment, the paternity issue, that there was no man around, that I was worried about her and the baby's future, and he just wasn't having any of it. So he texted her from my phone. I don't know if that's a move. He doesn't have her number and has never called or texted her before. They've met only a few times, and told her something along the lines of, this stops now. Don't ask my wife for money. If you need money, go get a job or go find your baby daddy. Ask that expletive for money. It's always stupid girls like you who make stupid choices and expect everyone else around you to clean up your crap. He then handed me the phone, and that was the end of it. How do you feel about like the husband kind of taking control like this?
I think that could have been a little not as mean.
I don't know about him just taking it from OP. Like that feels kind of, yeah, Teacher Yo says that's definitely not his place. I kind of agree. That feels like out of pocket.
You're making things worse. You're actively making things harder.
He then handed me the phone, and that was the end of it. She replied pretty much just cussing him out, but he wasn't interested in reading anything she said after he handed me the phone. He said what he said. I tried to call her, but she wouldn't pick up. But when I talked to her about it on the phone the next day, she sent me a long text message, and I wasn't about to sit through all of that. I explained to her that I didn't agree with the way he said it, but I did agree with him that she did make stupid choices, which led to a situation that she was in. And he lashed out mostly because of what happened with my sister-in-law, but he really did care. I also told her that I wasn't going to send the money. She told me that I should check my husband because he was disrespectful. And I admit I was a little snippy in response, and maybe it's because we're a bit older, but I told her that we don't check people in our household. We are adults. If we have a disagreement, we talk about it. Or you just, I guess, steal each other's phone and then yell.
Not contextually understanding that's what she's saying. Is when having a conversation with somebody, that is checking them. I really don't like that the husband took the phone, ranted, got nasty, and then when she responded, he said, I don't even want to read it. It's like, then you weren't even trying to have a conversation. You just wanted to yell at her.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you actually cared and wanted to have a discussion, that's one thing. Now you just wanted to be mean. You just wanted to, I don't know.
I told her that I wasn't going to get in the middle of it. I offered to give her his number if she wanted to talk to him about it, but she declined. I think she was mad because I didn't agree to cuss my husband out ghetto style on her behalf, but that's just not something we do. Also, I agreed with them both. He didn't have to call her stupid, but he was right too. He really needed to start making plans, real plans, and try to help herself before making or asking for support. Learn how to fish instead of always asking for one and all that. By the way, you can learn to fish for new episodes of this podcast by looking us up wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can listen to us in your ear holes while you clean, while you drive, while you work even. It's just consistent. You can have our voices everywhere. So go check out our podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Okay, story time. So I thought we squashed that whole thing when I went back to CT because a family member passed away. She even showed up at the funeral. So I thought it was all behind her. I apologized to her because I felt like I wasn't the version of a big sister she probably had imagined, and I always felt like it was always letting her down in some way. We hugged, we cried, we said our goodbyes, and then she ghosted me. I kept reaching out, calling to send out a search party because she just utterly ghosted me before. Then today she sends a text out of the blue saying she was done with this side of the family. We're not close and never will be, and she didn't want to have anything to do with her sister, quote unquote, whose husband doesn't respect her, and not to contact her again. All I could do was tell her that I would respect her choice, even if it ripped my heart out reading it. Then I cried for about an hour because I just feel like I lost my baby sister forever. Was I wrong? Should I have taken her side instead of being honest and staying out of it? Am I the a-hole? I feel like the misstep was your husband taking your phone. I feel like that, you got too involved, but I feel like really what did it in was husband taking the phone for sure.
Yeah, just made everything worse. Classic husband move. Steps in and says, I'll handle this. Makes everything worse. Leaves. My daughter is spoiled by my wife. Now her entitlement is hurting our son.
Get rid of both of them.
No more children allowed.
Just out.
I, 38 male, have 2 kids, Mark, 13 male, and Lily, 11 female. To give some context, Lily is really spoiled by my wife, Sarah, 37 female. Ever since Lily was little, Sarah has been overly indulgent with her, letting her stay up late, buying her whatever she wants, and pretty much excusing all of her behavior, no matter what. By the way, this story comes from user everydamage9376, and if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. It's made Lily feel entitled, especially when it comes to Mark. She doesn't have much respect for his privacy and constantly tattles on him for the smallest things, knowing her mom will take her side.
So she's a snitch.
Well, also, she's an 11-year-old younger sibling. At first, it was small stuff. Mark didn't make his bed. Mark stayed up too late. But over time, it has escalated. She started reporting anything that seemed even a little bit off. Mark didn't say hi to me when he got home. Mark left his shoes in the hallway. Given all of the tattling, it's like Lily has just a mental list of everything Mark's ever done wrong, and no matter how trivial, she'll run straight to Sarah to tell on him. Mark is 13, and like most teens, values his privacy and independence. He spends time with his friends and is starting to navigate more personal parts of his life. But Lily, with her constant monitoring, makes it impossible for him to have any space. There's no escaping it. And the real breaking point for Mark came when Lily somehow found out about his crush on a girl at school. I honestly don't know how she found out. Mark didn't tell her, and he definitely didn't want her to know. He was on the phone with a friend, but Lily must have overheard something. The next thing he knew, Lily was making comments about it, like, so you like that girl, huh? Mark was mortified. He hadn't shared that with anyone, let alone his 11-year-old sister. And then, of course, Lily went around telling all their friends at school. Mark felt completely humiliated. When Mark tried to tell Sarah about it, she dismissed his feelings, telling him to stop being dramatic. That's when Mark decided he needed space. He couldn't take it anymore, so he started avoiding Lily as much as possible. The issue really came to a head the other day. I came home from work and saw Mark sitting on the couch with Lily. They were watching a show, and I thought maybe they were getting along. But then I realized they were watching a show that Lily liked and not one they both enjoyed. Lily was bossing Mark around about how he should be watching it or how he was sitting too far from the TV. Mark got frustrated and stormed off to his room. Lily, of course, immediately started crying, but it was so obviously fake. I could see right through it. She ran to Sarah saying Mark was being mean to her, and that's when Sarah went upstairs to talk to Mark. I stopped her before she could go up, telling her I'd handle it. I went upstairs to check on Mark, and he finally opened up to me. He told me that it wasn't just about the show, it was just everything. He couldn't trust Lily anymore because of her constant snitching and invading his privacy. He told me he was tired of being made to feel like he was in the wrong no matter what he did. And yeah, instead of just telling your wife, Sarah, like, don't worry, I'll handle it, You should have been like, hey, here's what's reality. Here's what really just happened. I literally watched it with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, there seems to be like a lack of communication on the dad to the mom, the dad with both of the children.
Yeah, the final straw was Lily outing his crush to everyone at school, which we already knew about. He said he couldn't have any peace or privacy when she was always watching him and reporting back to Sarah. So now Mark is refusing to be around Lily. He's 13 and he deserves to have some space, but Sarah is pushing me to punish him for ignoring her, saying he's being mean to Lily by not spending time with her. She's even giving me the silent treatment now. She's upset that I'm not backing her up on this and that I'm not punishing Mark for not getting along with Lily. Every time I try to talk to her, she shuts down, won't engage, and just gives me the cold shoulder. Honestly, I'm feeling caught in the middle. I understand Sarah wants them to get along, but I don't think Mark should be forced to spend time with Lily if it's just going to be another situation where she invades his privacy and tattles on him. He needs boundaries and he needs to be able to have a private life, especially as a teenager. But it feels like Sarah doesn't see it that way. She thinks I'm being too lenient with Mark and not holding him accountable. So am I the a-hole for not punishing my son for wanting space from his sister, especially after she found out about his crush and made it public, and after my wife started giving me the silent treatment? And there's the update.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X's. Well, let's get back to the story.
Honestly, from what's been said here, it's a no, right? Like,
There's context that the wife is holding that is incorrect. She is not seeing what you are saying, and maybe you're not seeing some of what she's saying. Regardless, there's context that each parent is holding that is different than the other parent. And until there could be like a shared agreement, I imagine that both of you would, in the most ideal form of your marriage, want to be able to be partners in parenting. And if you're not able to come to a shared understanding, there probably shouldn't be any decisions being made. And so I'm not sure how to go about it if Sarah's not even open to the conversation at all. But it seems like that's the thing that needs to happen before anything is moved upon with the children at all.
First, I want to thank everyone again for your comments, even the harsh ones. They made me take a long, hard look at this situation and realize just how much it's been affecting Mark and our family as a whole. I decided to have a serious conversation with Sarah about her favoritism towards Lily and how it's been hurting Mark. I explained how dismissing Mark's feelings and excusing Lily's behavior has created a toxic environment where Mark feels unsupported and disrespected. I brought up specific examples like Lily outing his crush and how it humiliated him, and her constant tattling that makes him feel like he has no privacy. Unfortunately, the conversation didn't go as I hoped. Sarah completely denied showing favoritism and instead doubled down, saying Mark was just being a bad child and that his avoidance of Lily was mean and immature. She kept defending her actions, saying she's only trying to keep the peace and make them get along, but it was clear she wasn't willing to acknowledge her role in the problem. No matter how much I tried to stay calm and explain where I was coming from, she refused to see my point of view. Eventually, I realized we weren't getting anywhere and I didn't want the conversation to escalate into a fight, so I left the room and went upstairs to talk to Mark instead. When I got to Mark's room, I sat down with him and told him the truth, that I love him and that I know things have been unfair to him. I admitted that I hadn't done enough to protect him from the situation with his mom and sister, and I promised him that I'm going to do better. I told him I see how much he's been hurting and that his feelings are valid, even if not everyone in the house is acknowledging them right now. Mark seemed surprised, but relieved.
That's actually so sweet.
Yeah, I feel like that was the perfect way to go about it.
Well, he's actually getting some attention and,
Yeah.
some love.
At least acknowledgement. I don't understand how being a stone wall in this situation from like Sarah's perspective, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to the scenario because it's not about the scenario. There's so many more things outside of this.
You're seeing you got the X-ray specs on. You're seeing beyond this.
Yeah.
Mark seemed surprised but relieved. He told me how much it's been weighing on him and how alone he's felt lately. It broke my heart to hear how much he's been holding in, but I reassured him that he's not alone and that I'm in his corner. I told him I'd work on fixing the issues with Sarah and Lily, but in the meantime, I'm going to make sure he feels supported and respected. I know this is only the beginning and it's going to take time and effort to fix what's been broken, but I refuse to let Mark feel like he's second best in his own home anymore. He deserves better and I'm committed to giving him that. Thank you again for giving me the push I needed to start making changes. I'll try and keep you all updated. Many of you guys have been telling me to take Mark Mark and leave and get a divorce, but I am scared of divorce because I live in California and I searched it up and everything is split 50-50 and I'm not even in a good financial state right now with my wife spending on herself and Lily. Tonight, I'll talk to my wife and have an ultimatum. If she does not agree to treat Mark fairly and punish Lily correctly, then we will have a divorce. So yeah, there's no way this is just about the kids. This is not an issue you divorce over. This is how I'm seeing it, right? Life is unfair. Fundamentally, there are things that will always happen that are not fair and not ideal. And right now, Mark is experiencing the unfair. So this is a great teaching opportunity where you go, look, sometimes things aren't going to line up right for you, but you need to be able to have the self-assuredness and the self-respect to know when you're in the right and when things are just like unnecessarily dramatic. I've given an ultimatum to treat Mark fairly and punish Lily correctly, and if that cannot happen, we will have a divorce. Wow. But still, I might not go that way, since as I said before, I don't want to split 50-50 since I'm in a bad financial state. Can you guys please tell me a way to take care of this? And I don't have enough money for a good lawyer, so don't suggest it. I want to suggest to you right now to go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. And you know what? It's a great alternative to therapy is listening to our podcast as much as possible.
I don't know. You're just going to see me looking into the distance, frustrated, and having an existential crisis every time.
You don't need to see it. You can just hear his silence on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Just search OK Storytime. You can listen to us for days, literally days, for more than a month straight. So I see a lot of comments here where it's like, yes, therapy, family therapy. I feel like that is very important. Probably. Again, I love that what you said earlier where it's like leading with curiosity, where it's like instead of being like, because clearly Sarah is resistant to anything that has to do with this conversation about Lily. So take that completely off the table. Don't make this about Lily. Don't make this about Mark. Just make it about you and your wife and say, like, how do you feel about us right now? Do you feel like maybe we could benefit from like talking to somebody? You know, having a conversation. Like,
I agree. Take the pressure off of this scenario and then just approach it more generally through like, can we talk about us? And maybe like, I want to have a great relationship with you.
Right,
I want to feel connected to you. How can we go about like creating that together?
I like what Duchess said. I just don't see the wife agreeing to therapy when she won't even talk to OP and double down about Lily being right in her treatment of Mark. We don't know until we actually try, but...
My sister made wedding planning difficult, and now she refuses to attend.
Why couldn't she have just refused to help out in the first place?
Yeah, just refuse to be difficult, people. My sister, 36 female, is my 34 female maid of honor, but she has caused a lot of drama around my wedding. I got engaged in December 2021 and started looking at venues immediately. My fiance and I live in Florida, which is a vacation destination, while my sister's based in Nashville and everyone else lives in Chicago. The wedding is set for June 2023 in Florida, but pre-wedding events will be in the Chi. By the way, this comes from user Willie and Grace, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We chose our venue because my fiance loved it. He hasn't had a lot of opinions or requests, so I couldn't say no. When booking the venue, I was nervous because the ceremony room has a max capacity of 100 people, and we're inviting 150. My backup plan was to hire entertainment for the kids during the ceremony, which my sister agreed to, though she didn't think we'd reach 100 people. I moved forward with the plans, even calling parents who were comfortable with the idea. I decided to plan a bridal dress fitting trip with my family, and my sister decided to use that weekend for her son's late birthday party. I was excited for both events. However, the party became so large that everyone had to cancel on my fitting. I ended up going alone and crying at how let down I was. I didn't end up buying a dress that day. Out of guilt, my sister flew to Florida to go dress shopping with me. At the boutique, she sat on the couch and scrolled through her phone, which is not very helpful. When I tried to engage her, she gave me one-word answers. I tried on dresses, and I loved one, but she pointed out my bodily insecurities and suggested I try a dress I felt uncomfortable in. When I mentioned it, she got defensive, saying, "You wanted my input, and now you don't like it." Months pass, and my sister announced her pregnancy. She told me she wouldn't be available for the last 8 months of wedding planning. I suggested doing an engagement party early, which she agreed to, but then she dumped all the responsibilities on another bridesmaid who planned the entire event. I promoted this bridesmaid to second maid of honor to show my appreciation. After the engagement party, I made thank you cards to save money, which I thought came out nicely. My sister made side comments saying they were tacky and that she'd hire someone for her wedding. A few months later, my sister had her baby. She asked me to stay with her for 2 2 months to help. Since I work from home, I agreed for a month, but I said I needed to be home for Christmas. I cooked, cleaned, drove her kids to school, and changed diapers. She made comments about how dinner was bland, or I folded the laundry wrong.
Dude, shut your mouth. You're getting free labor.
Yeah, this is way
That's
too much.
free babysitting. Shut your gosh darn mouth.
Yeah, come on. Her husband was no help watching the sports ball all day. My family helped the last week I was there. Whenever I mentioned the wedding, people would say, "Oh, we'll talk about it after the new year." Meanwhile, my planner was pushing me to hire vendors since we only had 5 months left. I avoided the wedding talk until after the new year. We hired dueling pianos, and they wanted us to pick the music early. I asked my sister if she wanted to help, but she insisted I create a list of options for her. I told her if I was doing all that work, I didn't need her help. I also asked my sister to help me narrow down my Pinterest photos for florists, but she said none of them were stunning. When I pointed out that her comment was rude, she defended herself, saying, "What? They're hideous. Am I not allowed to have an opinion?"
No. Nobody wants to hear your opinions.
It's not an opinion. That's an insult. After that, I stopped asking for help from her. She then starts planning the bachelorette party, which I told her multiple times I want to be involved in. She insists that brides are not involved, that it's a surprise. I tell her that I'm not interested in a surprise. She doesn't hear me. Then I find out she's planning a bachelorette party in Nashville. My bridesmaids are calling me, telling me they can't afford a trip to Nashville a month before a trip to Florida. I contact my sister and tell her I want to do the party in Chicago. My sister is in Chicago every other week for work, so it's easy on everyone. My sister, out of what I suspect to be spite, starts planning a party at the worst bar in our hometown. My bridesmaids start fighting with her about the location, saying that I would hate it. Everybody hates this bar. I call my sister and reiterate that I want to be involved. She demands that I stay out of it.
And that's when you say, "Okay, actually, I don't want you to plan this anymore."
To avoid further drama, I omit that the bridesmaids are telling me what's going on. And I tell my sister I want to go to a piano bar since we have dueling pianos at our wedding. It's the perfect way to get everyone excited about it. Also, since we have 2 junior bridesmaids, I'd like to do something with them before we go out. Maybe a potluck at someone's house. She ignores me and continues with her plans. My second maid of honor reaches out to the piano bar and won a free party for the Saturday of the party. My sister then tells everyone she's unavailable Saturday
Perfect.
because she has to drive home. We can only do Friday. Now I have to miss work to fly. Wait, no! They're all rescheduling for this sister? That sucks.
Stop, you dummies. Just tell her, "Okay, sorry, bummer that we can't, include you."
Now I have to miss work to fly in, and it's a huge inconvenience, but I'm trying to keep the peace. My second maid of honor graciously offered to pay for the piano bar for all the girls on Friday to accommodate my sister's schedule. Also, to include the kids and parents in the weekend plans, we have a 10 a.m. paint party Saturday
That's
morning.
fun.
I can't even enjoy Friday fully because I have to be up early with kids and family the next morning. My sister said to me on accident that she's mad at her husband and might fly to Chicago for the bachelorette party. I think, OMG, that would make everyone's life easier. Before I could say anything, she goes, "Oh, but I can't do that. I have plans with my friends in Chicago Saturday night, so I need my car." I finally broke and told her how we are moving everything around for her, and now she's staying in Chicago. I tell her I'm upset. The plans aren't really what's best for everyone, but it's what's best for her. She then blames everything on my bridesmaids, saying, "I never said I couldn't do Saturday. Your second maid of honor is creating lies. I am your sister. Who are you going to believe?" I have messages between my sister and I where she told me directly that she's unavailable Saturday because she has to drive home. I suggest we move the plans to Saturday then, since she's now available. But she says no because now she has plans. Some time passes. The drama settles down. We start getting our RSVPs back. Also, our guest list grew. We have 108 yes RSVPs. 17 of those are children. We're waiting on 60 more RSVPs and currently have a 90% yes rate.
Whoa, look at you, Miss Popular.
Little Miss Thing.
Little Miss Popular.
My planner tells me that I need to secure the entertainment and sitters for the kids during the ceremony. To clarify that, this is in the same building, and we were hiring licensed professionals as is required by state law. Also, the ceremony is only 20 minutes, and the newborn does not have to go because he's a baby. I casually mentioned to my sister that I'm moving forward with the sitters since we are over capacity, and she has a full-blown meltdown. She called everyone in our family and tells them that I'm a bridezilla and I think she's a bad mom. She calls up some guests with kids who then call me up and start saying they are no longer comfortable with this plan. They had previously liked the idea. Each person I talked to refused to hear me out. They just plead with me to drop it for now. Things will work themselves out.
Who are these people? They refuse to hear you out.
Well, yeah.
You're uninvited too.
The sister.
She's a blight.
Meanwhile, my planner is pushing for us to secure something. I'm exhausted. My fiance and I are losing sleep over the repeated drama with my sister. We decide to move the ceremony. When we start looking, we can't find a single venue close to the reception. Everything is over 30 minutes away. My parents tell me that an off-site ceremony is too much for an out-of-town wedding. My fiance and I make the judgment call to move our entire wedding to a new venue. We had to pay the full price of the old venue, and the new venue is 3 times more expensive. We had to order and mail new invitations, work with new room blocks, notify all of our vendors, and pay additional travel costs to the existing vendors. But I'm happy with this decision because my sister and I are getting along again, and everyone in the family backed off of me from my original wedding venue plans. By the way, you will find it hard to back off from listening to full episodes with stories like this one. Just go to iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Search OK Storytime, and there you will find a treasure trove of story. Fast forward to last week, my water heater broke and flooded the apartment. It ruined all of my DIY wedding decor. I call my sister up, crying. I'm overwhelmed. And of course, she offers no support, empathy, or compassion. Then she asks me if I will call up the second maid of honor to ask about something bachelorette party related, because again, she refuses to communicate with her further. Mind you, my sister is still pushing the narrative that I'm not involved. I ask her to directly communicate with her because I have a lot going on over here. She accuses me of siding with the second maid of honor and now says she's not going to the wedding.
Oh,
And the angels sang
Oh
from the
no.
hilltops of the heavens.
Oh,
Hallelujah.
let me cry. I'll cry about you not coming to my wedding. Just kidding. They're tears of joy.
Yes, I will weep big, fat, juicy tears of happiness if you made it this far. I appreciate you taking the time to read this. My head is spinning from the drama. I'm not sure what I'm looking for by posting this. I think I just needed to get it all off my chest with a drama dump. And this is OP in the comments. Regarding her role, my sister was a bully when we were younger. Oh, no.
Shocking.
She was?
Shocking.
The older we got, the better it's become. Honestly, I think the wedding is pulling our relationship backwards. We've grown so much throughout the years, which I believe is why I have so much tolerance for her behavior. I know that we have grown from this, but she keeps proving me wrong. Plus, I'm busy. There's tons to distract me from keeping tally on the crappy things that she's done. The final straw was last week with the flood that I started realizing all that had happened. And well, it led me to process it all on Reddit. Regarding the married confusion, she got married at the courthouse. They are planning to have a big wedding when the kids are older. Ah, so it is. She's upset that she's already married, but she hasn't had her big wedding and that you get it first.
And she can do what?
She can like literally buzz the frick off.
How about up to someone who cares? Not me. It ain't me.
My sister-in-law disinvited my wife from her baby shower over a joke she made.
How bad was the joke?
Is she just really not funny?
She's
at
just
all?
unfunny.
February 7th, 2025. This is a recent one. I, male 30, recently married the love of my life, female 28, and I'm super close with my brother, male 35. We always imagined our families being close too, until one single lunch ruined everything. By the way, this comes from a throwaway Gooner dude, and if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my wife and I went out to eat with my brother and my sister-in-law, female 31, who is pregnant and about to give birth to my first nephew. Needless to say, we are all very excited. Mid-meal, my brother, probably feeling sentimental, goes, "Man, I hope the baby turns out like OP. He was such a cute kid." Now, a bit about my sister-in-law. She's usually nice, and I like her, but she's definitely type A and a bit high maintenance. So without missing a beat, she shuts my brother down. "No, I'd much rather he turns out like you."
Okay, that's not like
It's not that bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, that's like a sweet little compliment.
no, I want him to turn out like you.
Depending on the tone.
Yeah,
too.
no.
Like, no.
I want him to turn out like you.
Yeah.
Different.
A bit of an awkward comment, and my brother probably thought so as well. So he goes, no, seriously, we'd be lucky if the kid was like OP. He was such a cute and nice kid. And then sister-in-law doubles down and says, no, but you're so much more handsome.
Okay, well now we're dipping into rude.
Now it's just getting weird.
Now it's just a little bit mean.
It's like, why? Like you're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
It feels
Like,
like.
no.
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 You're so much more handsome. No, I don't want to.
I would never want a baby like OP's. I've never dreamed of a world where I was married to OP and my baby looked like him.
Exactly. Before turning to look directly at me and adding, no offense. Now, look, I wasn't deeply offended. My brother is a very good-looking guy, so I get it. But who just says that out loud? My wife, who had been quiet up to this point, clearly found it rude. So she jokingly goes, well, as long as the baby doesn't look like the sister-in-law, we should be fine. That's a clapback if I have ever seen one.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay, but it is rude.
It is.
But she was rude first?
Yeah, it's kind of like that one saying when we were kids where it's
Yeah.
like, I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah.
I can't tell you because you might cry. Like that one.
Oh.
Have you ever heard that version of it?
No, I know you are, but
Yeah.
what am I? I've only,
Can't tell you. You might cry.
dang, I've never.
Boom. Yeah, I didn't come up with
Wow.
that. Some first grader did that.
That first grader's a genius.
Freaking genius. I know.
Crazy, man.
So I chuckled. My brother laughed. Sister-in-law did not laugh. She immediately got pissed, glared at my wife, and went, what the heck does that mean? That's extremely rude. We're not close enough for jokes like that. My wife was taken aback, and so was I. My brother tried to say something, but she stormed out. My brother followed her, looking about as confused as I felt. Fast forward to today. Sister-in-law has officially disinvited my wife from the baby shower celebration. My wife says that she doesn't even want to go, which, fair enough. My brother is devastated and really wants me to be there. Now, here's the thing. My brother adores me. He's always been my biggest supporter, and he wants me to be a big part of my nephew's life. He's having his first child, and this moment is really important to him. I love my brother too, and can't see him sad like that. He says that both my wife and sister-in-law need to apologize eventually, but we shouldn't force it right now and give them some time to cool off. He also thinks that sister-in-law owes me an apology for what she said, but again, pregnancy hormones or whatever, so he just doesn't want to push it yet. My parents actually side with my wife and think that sister-in-law was out of line first, but they also believe that I shouldn't miss such a huge moment in my brother's life and that we should cut sister-in-law some slack because of her pregnancy. So here's my issue. I don't feel right going if my wife isn't welcome. I want to support her, but I also know that this moment means the world to my brother. So if I go, my wife might feel abandoned. If I don't, my brother will feel heartbroken. I feel completely stuck. And there is a consensus from all the commenters. People tell OP to send a gift and to stay at home. And we do have an update, but what do you think that OP should do?
Ooh.
Stay home and support the wife, or go and support the brother?
Oh, I think you got to talk to your wife about that.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Always fall back on communication.
Yeah,
Always
it's like
reliable.
what does she want from you? And just be like, hey, like whatever you want me to do here is fine.
Yeah.
Like I want to be there to support my brother, but also you know, she's kind of excluding you.
Right.
Yeah, talk to the wife.
Yeah, definitely talk to the wife. I feel like either way, both people might understand your position. You
Yeah,
know what
I
mean?
think so.
I would probably support going to the brother.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's
And there we have it.
complicated.
It's complicated.
Okay, my ADHD medication is not kicked in yet.
I need caffeine.
But there is an update. So, February 13th now, 2025, 6 days later. Thanks everyone for the replies. I think I read almost every single one. I really appreciated the different perspectives. So now some clarifications. My wife is not a mean person. She made a joke in the moment, although I admit that it wasn't a great joke given the sensitivity of the situation. But she's genuinely one of the kindest, most caring people I know. That's one of the reasons I love her so much. I don't think my brother did anything wrong by bringing up the topic. We were reminiscing about childhood, and he probably got nostalgic about having his little brother following him everywhere. My brother and I resemble each other quite a bit, though he's definitely the better looking one. Funny how that works. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean I'm insecure. If anything, he's the outlier. He's one of those people who naturally turns heads. Even when we were younger, he'd get random girls hitting on him wherever we went. It was such a running joke in our family that even my parents would tease him about it. The entire conversation lasted less than 5 minutes and escalated very quickly. I agree with the comments that all of us should have handled the situation better, but easier to say that in hindsight. In real time, things just got out of hand very quickly. I'm sure that all of us regret what we said in the moment, except for the brother. The brother, he said nothing wrong.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I would love OP to be this kid that looked like OP.
Yeah, that was such like
Be like OP.
a brother thing. It's just like, yeah, just like he like grabs him on the shoulders. As long as he could look like my brother right here.
My brother right here.
My brother.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, thanks, man. And then the after school special music plays, you know? And then it's really sweet and nice and a wholesome moment. But then they had to ruin it.
The credits roll.
Ruin it. But now for the actual update. I told my wife that I wouldn't go unless she was also invited. She immediately told me that she didn't want to be the reason that I missed it and that I should go if I wanted to. There you go. Communication. She even said that she'd be willing to apologize if my sister-in-law was open to it, but that she wouldn't attend if even re-invited because she'd feel uncomfortable. I told her I appreciated that, but for me, it was both of us or none of us. Then I called my brother. And this is where I have to give him a lot of credit because I know he was upset. He had really wanted me there and I could hear the disappointment in his voice. But instead of pushing, he just said, I get it, man. Don't worry about it.
They're just brothers.
That's so sad.
They're brothers.
They're brothers. You can't beat a bond.
What did you
Like
say about my
brotherly
brother?
love. Man,
Yeah,
I
man.
would go with the wife's thing. That seems like, I mean, I don't know. I know it's his choice and he probably feels very uncomfortable
No.
being there, being like, yeah, I'm here alone. I'm here alone
You
because
uninvited my wife.
someone couldn't, wait, what is it?
Someone could dish it out,
you
but
go.
they couldn't take it.
Exactly. Someone, not gonna name any names. But anyway, yeah, dang, that's really hard, man.
Yeah.
That's tough. I know that wasn't easy for him to say. He had to balance keeping things calm with his wife while also wanting his brother by his side. But he didn't guilt trip me, didn't try to convince me otherwise. He just let me make my own choice. He even said, don't worry, we'll save you guys some food and I'll drop it off later. I offered to help with setup if he needed it and told him to say that I have the vid to avoid awkward questions. He just laughed and said, got it. You caught the world's shortest vid, just long enough for the baby shower, but miraculously recovered the next day. Now, here's where things got a bit more complicated. My mom was not happy with him for not sorting this out earlier. She felt like he should have stepped in and made peace before it got to the point where my wife was uninvited. But my parents didn't say anything directly because they didn't want to get involved in the drama. I think that really weighed on him. He was already trying to navigate a tough situation, and now he had our parents silently judging him too. It put him in an impossible position, trying to be a good husband, a good brother, and a good son all at once. A couple of days passed with no further drama. Then something unexpected happened. My wife got a call from my sister-in-law. At first, my wife panicked, thinking that she was about to get yelled at, but instead, they actually had a really good conversation. I overheard bits of it, including my wife saying, "No, you're gorgeous."
Oh, she's like, no, I didn't mean like you're ugly. I was just trying to stand out like you're gorgeous.
I was just
You're gorgeous.
throwing it back at you. That's
Sorry, I
all.
thought you could take it. Sorry.
Which made me laugh a little. After the call, my wife told me that sister-in-law actually apologized first. She admitted that she'd been feeling really self-conscious about her looks during pregnancy and that my wife's joke hit a sore spot. A little later, my brother called me. He told me that he had gently talked to sister-in-law and helped her see that things had gotten out of hand. He also told me that knowing my wife was willing to apologize had made a huge difference. And then he admitted something. He had wanted to fix things before the baby shower, but he knew that his wife was already under a lot of stress. He didn't want to add more pressure on her while she was in the middle of planning. And honestly, I respect that.
I respect all the people in the story.
I
Everyone's
respect that
chill.
too.
I
Yeah.
feel like she was just like dealing with hormones and was like
Yeah.
reacted like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've heard so many stories of
Yeah.
people who were pregnant and then like a little comment about their appearance like sets them off, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that
yeah.
totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. My sister-in-law is one of those people who needs everything to be perfect. Her look, my brother's look, the house, the decorations, etc. So I can understand that the pressure she must have put on herself. And my brother knew that pushing her while she was stressed wouldn't have helped, so he waited. And after the event, when things calmed down, he quietly stepped in and fixed things. So where do things stand now? Things seem good on the surface. My wife and sister-in-law made peace, and my brother and I are fine. My wife and I have decided to just be extra sensitive around sister-in-law, given what she's going through. All in all, the situation seems to have brought us somewhat closer together. The real takeaway, I have an amazing wife, but her humor could use some work. Also, my brother ain't too bad. Side note, speaking of whom, my brother will probably never see this because he only uses Reddit for sports and news, or so he says. But in the off chance that he does, well, Guess I'm busted. But since I have your attention, I'll admit something just this once. You are the best bro I could have asked for. That time you helped me for uni, I don't think you know how much it really meant to me. And when I was at a really low point, you stood by me. I don't think I've ever said it, but I've always appreciated that. This is so sweet. I'm fully imagining after school special, like they're in high school. That's what I'm imagining.
I'm just picturing
they've got
like,
Letterman's jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grainy filter on the camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Full House.
Yeah.
They're having like what's the moral of the story? And they're like having a sit down where they're like, and why did you feel the need to say that, sister-in-law?
Yeah.
And she's like, I've just been feeling so down recently.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to take it out. And I ended up taking it out on you. And
I'm
like,
sorry.
it's okay. Every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't ever admit this in person, and I will forever deny I ever wrote this. By the way, what I will never deny is the fact that you can find full episodes with more stories just like this one on the OK Storytime podcast. Just look it up on whatever your favorite podcast app is, whether that's iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you so choose. And it will be there for you.
It will be.
Every day.
Every
You
day.
are everywhere you look. What is
this
the word?
Everywhere you look. Okay, story times there. That's all I got.
Somebody who needs you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yay. But there is a tiny bit more.
Let's read it.
So, edit. Everyone keeps asking why my wife didn't apologize first. I thought I made it clear in the post, but maybe not. My wife was going to apologize, but wanted to check if sister-in-law was open to it. She had just been uninvited, so we had no idea whether my sister-in-law was even open to talking to her. I had told my brother that my wife wanted to apologize, and if he had given us the green light, my wife would have absolutely called. Instead, my sister-in-law decided to call once my brother told her that my wife wanted to apologize. That was her being the bigger person.
Honestly, everyone
Yay.
handled that perfectly.
This is a perfect dude.
Perfect story.
They're still making that show. Just send this to the writers.
Yeah.
Dude.
Did?
It can happen.
Dude, this is a plot right there.
It's literally free.
We're solving
plot.
We're solving world peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
My brother stole from me. Now he wants back in my life.
Oh, it's too bad. It's so sad. He tried to steal your way back in.
Most of this happened very recently, so for background, my brother Andrew and I used to work for the same company, which was contracting. I did all the scheduling, advertising, and relayed any complaints that came my way to the right person. By the way, this comes from JustWinner8379, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So for instance, if a customer complained about the paint bleeding through, which happened once because a guy had electrical problems that caused a fire and gave the walls smoke damage, I had to handle it. The guy bought the wrong paint and the walls bled. Needless to say, it was a nightmare job. I did all of that for a few years with BS pay and all kinds of nonsense, like the boss blowing off estimates, making me lie to customers because they wouldn't leave in time, or making me lie for some other reason. It was complete BS, to be honest. After a while, the boss gained an unhealthy habit, so my brother and I took over for a little while. Andrew didn't like to go to estimates, so I had my boyfriend go, and we would split a percentage. Andrew would then get upset if too many things came in at once, and he had to figure out a lot, but he would also complain if nothing came in. Whenever my boyfriend was busy and couldn't go, I'd ask Andrew, and he would cuss me out, asking why there were so many. Why is he even working here, man? He's like, why are there things for me to do?
Some people are just employed with no explanation.
He would then ask why my boyfriend couldn't go, even when my boyfriend was already out or working. Andrew never understood that. So I had to make a plan where we used Street View to look at houses to see what was wrong. Sometimes Andrew would tell me, oh, well, I'd have to see it, then proceed to not see it, but still ask me where the work was. I had to do that song and dance for like 2 months. At least for once, I got paid correctly whenever he would work. One day, Andrew did a job that I had gotten him, sealing and fixing a lady's gutters. He got paid by the lady, but I never saw my cut. Later, he borrowed gas money from me, promising he would have my money for both later that week. I still haven't seen it to this day. Now to the backstabbing part of the story. Andrew and I lived together with my boyfriend, our dad, and his girlfriend. It was easier since we all worked for the same company. We used our work money to pay rent, utilities, etc. Most of the time, the boss just paid and said it was taken out of our pay. But when the boss developed that bad habit I mentioned before and stopped paying, we had taken on all the financial responsibilities. Let's just say Andrew didn't like that. He preferred to party and go out drinking instead of paying what needed to be paid. And we got behind with the landlord, causing a lot of stress in the house. I like to party and drink from time to time too, but I always made sure work came first. I also made sure I only did it on weekends so it wouldn't interfere with anything important. I even helped Andrew build a home bar so we and our friends had somewhere to drink. I also paid for most of the stuff so Andrew could have a Halloween party. I ended up making a Hail Mary ad because work wasn't coming in. I basically told people that bills were piling up, which they were, and that we had skills, just needed work to get through the holidays. Needless to say, Andrew hated this.
Did he? Did he now?
Even though it brought in at least 30 estimates. He told me, "Why would you post this? It hurts my pride as a man." What?
Oh, it hurts my human pride. No, it should motivate you to change.
Yeah, maybe you should do better, dude.
I don't know, man. It's a wake-up call.
Come on. Andrew begged me to take the ad down. I refused because the bills needed to be paid and nothing else was working. He eventually relented because of all the estimates coming in, but then proceeded to blow off all the ones he needed to see in person. Can you fire him? Can you kick him out?
What does he have, tenure? Like, what is this?
I ended up with only a little money to pay the landlord, so I called him and gave him what I had. I told the landlord he would get the rest when we had it and assured him we had other estimates that would help cover the rest. Everyone in the house was responsible for paying $300 since rent also covered gas, sewage, garbage, and water. Cable, internet, phone, and electricity was separate. Andrew continued to not pay his share. One time I was lucky to get $50 off him and I practically had to beg for it. Now, this is the day before Christmas. Andrew and my father conspired a plan. The landlord came by to check on things and talk. Those two talked to him. I don't know what was said, and then came in and told me, "Thanks to you talking all kinds of BS to the landlord, now we all have to move." They refused to tell me what was said. I mean, oh my gosh. But they're probably just being, super awful and being like, we're not going to pay or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not your fault,
No.
especially if they're not telling you what happened.
Yeah,
they're
come
just like, this is your fault.
You're the one paying. He's not paying, or Andrew isn't paying. It stressed me out, and if it weren't for my boyfriend, I don't know how I would have handled it. He helped a lot. After calming down, I called the landlord and asked him what the issue was. He just said, "I don't want any drama. I just want rent paid," and told me I did nothing wrong. At that point, I felt so betrayed by Andrew and my father. I started packing my stuff because I couldn't take the drama anymore. I guess Andrew and my father didn't take it seriously, but when they saw me taking my things out to the truck, they realized I was actually leaving and tried to tell me they loved and would miss me. Before I left, I ran one more ad and set up all the scheduling. Then I told them I was quitting and that they were on their own from now on. They didn't believe me. My father said, "You could just work remotely." And I said, "Nope, I'm done with all the constant work drama." I think that is pausing for a second, that is the best move because it seems like working and living with these people is a nightmare.
Yeah, if you can remove half of your exposure, that's great. I mean, work drama, a place where you work where it's constantly dramatic, just sucks anyway. Like, I'm mostly thinking, I'm not thinking about this at all. I'm thinking about specifically the restaurant industry. It's like working at a dramatic restaurant is the most annoying, draining thing. Like on top of the work already.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's sales, it can get bad, but like I haven't done as many, all the restaurant jobs, as soon as it gets like drama, it's like, just go get a different one.
Yeah, man. Because I heard everyone's always into each other too at the restaurant.
Yeah, there can be a
Everyone's
lot
dating.
of that. There can be a lot of that.
The day I was leaving, Andrew was in shock. I asked him if the bills were paid, and he told me, yes, when they weren't. I found that out later. Andrew also got upset that I was taking my dog, who had been in the family for 10 years at that point, but they didn't take care of her well, since they all had their own dogs. They let their dogs pee and poop all over the house, and I was always the one cleaning it. Yoicks. They dirtied all the dishes and I had to clean them. My boyfriend helped, but Andrew would cook, leave the dishes out, and not even put them in the sink or put away the food he used. Then he would ask me, "Why can't you do any dishes today?" I always made sure I cleaned mine, but Andrew never did. It always fell on me. After I left, Andrew kept checking in on me and asking where I was moving. I didn't want to tell him, but he wouldn't drop it. So I made sure my boyfriend was okay with it first and then told him. My boyfriend didn't like Andrew because Andrew would always hit on him when I was asleep. and Andrew was wasted. Even though Andrew claimed he was straight, he would only do it when intoxicated. Wait,
Whoa, wait a minute.
Andrew, what are you doing?
Whoa.
Stop. That's like
Wait a
your
minute.
sister's boyfriend.
Hold up.
He also had a self-centered, arrogant attitude that rubbed my boyfriend the wrong way. Later, my boyfriend told me that Andrew had thousands hidden away, but couldn't help pay rent. A few days after the move, Andrew called and just so happened to be going on a vacation where I had moved. I didn't buy it. My boyfriend didn't want him coming by, so I didn't give him a yes or no. I sent Andrew our house rules: no smoking inside, clean up spills, if you break it, you buy it, don't be too loud, keep food and drinks off the couch, and no booze inside. He never responded, so I guess he didn't like them. That was a big no-no for me since I keep the house clean and don't want him or his friends messing it up. But you guys would never mess anything up if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app, which might be iHeartRadio as well, and search a Bucky Story Time. But there's a little bit left to this story. Do you have any thoughts?
This guy is a terrible roommate,
Yeah,
who just so
and
happens
brother.
to be your brother. So, you know,
And terrible coworker.
if you take away the brotherness, it's like, yeah, take the kid gloves off. Just treat him like a normal guy.
But let's finish the story. I ended up going no contact after that because I didn't want to deal with any drama he might bring. I also asked for my back pay since he obviously had the money, but he never responded. So am I the a-hole for going no contact and not trusting him? Also, should I discuss him and his friends visiting if my boyfriend doesn't like him?
I think if you go no contact, you should make it explicitly clear why. Don't just go no contact and don't explain.
Yeah.
Explain why you're doing it.
Yeah, say like,
Be like, here's what you
"Hey,
could do to fix it.
Hey, girly.
Or here's what you could do to address
Mm-hmm.
your part of the equation here.
Yeah. Well, it seems like
And then, you know,
OP offered, pretty reasonable boundaries for the brother coming to visit, saying like, hey, okay, you can come visit, but these are the rules, and he never responded. It's like, okay. You done what you can.
My brother has been the biggest bully. Now that he needs help, I refuse to lend a hand.
shouldn't have bullied me, bully boy.
A little backstory here is important. I, 25 female, am the youngest of 4 and my parents' only daughter. My 2 oldest brothers, 37 male and 35 female, are the best. My other brother, 33 male, we'll call him Adam for the story, literally hates my guts and always has. By the way, this comes from deleted on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So he has always hated how much attention I get from my dad, even though he gets babied by our mom. He would literally torture me when I was young by locking me in the closet or sitting on me until I couldn't breathe. I was sort of a brain in school, and Adam bullied me constantly for it. I finished high school when I was 16 and now have 3 different degrees. I am a private financial advisor, and I have done well for myself. My 2 oldest brothers both own their own business and have a comfortable life. Adam did not go to college when my parents offered to pay for it, and he is a bartender. He has never moved out of our parents' house because he spends every cent he makes. He has never paid bills either. He got fired from his 5th bar last week for being wasted during work. My parents wanted to have family dinner, but was reluctant due to Adam always berating me and making fun of me. My dad said he really wanted this, so I gave in. When we were all at my parents' house for dinner, my mom brought up the idea of Adam living in one of my rental properties.
Oh, is that so?
I moved out with my brother, which was good. This is what we needed to do. But sometimes whenever you make your first move, it doesn't need to be with a family member. You need to do it with someone else.
I can't really relate, but I do know that you can move in with someone who's your best friend, and they'll turn into your enemy. If not speaking to my current situation because we're 30, but when I was a child, essentially, yeah, some of the people I live with I don't talk to anymore.
Nice. I only have 2, and one a family lives in, and the other a woman and her daughter are about to move into. So, both occupied. I explained this to my mother, and Adam suggests I break one of their leases and let him move in. I told him no. He asked why, and I said it was wrong, and also, he isn't responsible, so I don't trust him to pay rent on time. He laughed and asked why he would need to pay rent. I told him to drop it, especially if he's expecting a free ride, but he kept pestering me and trying to persuade me. Finally told him it wasn't my responsibility to take care of him, and he needs to figure it out. I also told him he has never been kind to me, so he shouldn't feel entitled to anything. My mom started yelling at me, saying I was being disrespectful and I needed to help when family asks. I told her she created this monster so she can deal with it. I left shortly after. My mom and Adam have been blowing up my phone, calling me every name in the book. My dad and my other 2 brothers are on my side. Of course, Adam is telling anyone who will listen my dad is just backing me up because I'm his favorite and he's continuing to call me names. The drama is starting to mess with me and I just want peace. He sent me a text saying that I don't know what it's like being the black sheep and I should help him when he's down because that's what family does. I need an unbiased opinion. Am I the a-hole for not giving him a place to stay? Update, getting right into it. I want to say thank you for all the comments. Past 2 weeks have been a huge roller coaster for my family. What I didn't mention in my first post was that I always felt weird about how protective my mother is of Adam. In my opinion, she took every opportunity to isolate him, but when I tried to talk to him, he'd slash out. My older brothers feel the same way, but when they try to talk to Adam, he'd get angry. My 2 oldest brothers and I were hanging out at my place when I heard banging on my door. It was Adam, and he was wasted. I let him sleep it off in my guest room, and I told him he'd have to leave when he sobered up. I went to the room after a few hours to check on him, and he was crying. He said our mother supplied him with booze and always does when he's home. He kept apologizing to me and sobbing.
Oh no,
my
she's an
God.
enabler.
My brother came in and my oldest brother told him he needs to be honest and tell us what's going on. Adam admitted our mother has been treating him like her boyfriend since he was a teen. That's when she started giving him booze and all clicked for me. Our dad worked constantly, so she wasn't at home, and my mom would always say Adam was being punished for something while my brothers were allowed to go out. My mom would let me watch movies in my room all night and she'd disappear. Adam said she'd make him cuddle with her and have dinner with her like it was a date. She discussed her and my dad's marital problems with him. He didn't accompany, she wouldn't let him leave the house at all, and she'd continue to lie and say he was being punished. She told him over and over how none of us would believe him, so he never felt safe to tell us. She went as far as to steal from our dad and blame Adam, so our dad always thought Adam was being dishonest. He said she never did anything spicily to him, but apparently that's why she wanted to have my place, so they could be alone. He said she told him what to say to me, and he made the statement about rent on purpose so I wouldn't do it. We hugged him for a long time, and he just cried and apologized. My siblings and I were seeing red at this point, and we all agreed Adam needed to tell our dad. We invited our dad over, and we stood with Adam while he told our dad everything. Our dad hugged Adam, kept apologizing to him, and he said he'll handle it. I don't know exactly what was said to my mother, but she moved out and is living in a hotel. My dad has already filed for divorce, and she is not finding him. We tried to talk to her, but she told us to all go to heck, and we took her one good thing away. She said,
oh my God.
also Adam belongs to her, and she can do what she wants. It's taking everything in me to hold it together because she destroyed my brother with her crap and destroyed our relationship with him. By the way, you know, I'm not even going to say the CTA because we're not even going to post this anywhere.
Exhibitionist boxing match with my own mom. That's what I'm having if Adam's my brother.
Oh my gosh.
Serious?
Adam said he just wants to get better and wants to be a family with us. I can't lie. I was really happy. We're all so proud of him. He hasn't even taken a drink since that night because he's currently in rehab. When he's done, he's going to move into a condo with my dad, and my dad is going to buy. My dad is selling the family house, so he will be living with Adam. He isn't alone. Adam gets to call us every day and he wants to talk to me. It's like we're getting to know each other for the first time since it's been great. He keeps apologizing to me, but honestly, I've already forgiven him. I know this wasn't the update anyone was expecting, and I'm still in shock. I'm just going to focus on our families healing, and hopefully we can all be in a good place one day.
I mean, like
Or
real,
blah, blah.
those things happen to people, clearly.
Yep.
But that's like so sick. That's actually, I've called people a lot of sick freaks today, like as a joke.
That is the sickest freak.
But that's like an actual sick freak. Like that's a
dude, and she was gonna
messed
get
up.
like
She's
a
supplying
place
him
to
alcohol.
live.
Yeah, that's
She's gonna get a place to live so she could do things. I
truly
think so.
disturbed. Deeply, truly disturbed.
Like you would see this stuff on TLC.
I mean, yeah, you know,
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
you'd see this is
I put a WWE thing on him.
My brother always got away with his mischief until I finally banned him from my home.
You banned.
I-31 male have an older brother, 40 male, who was born with special needs. His mind is almost that of a 7-year-old. Now, before I go any further, let me just say that I love my brother and I do care for him, but over time it's gotten to the point where he gets away with a lot of mischief, little Dennis the Menace kind of character. Mostly comes from our mother brushing it off like it's nothing. By the way, this comes from Icy Reach 6669, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So once it started to affect finances, I had a talk with her and said she cannot keep babying him anymore because it's starting to get out of hand. He knows there are things he has to do in his daily life, such as go to work, take medication, but he never seems to remember the important stuff. It's always the things he doesn't need to do. For example, he stays with my mom. When she or I used to leave the house, he would rummage through our belongings, even my mom's tax information, writing nonsense all over the back of it. He would go into my wallet, mess with my credit cards, steal my money, thinking it was his. Again, performance piece, even though he knows he's not supposed to touch things that don't belong to him. Over the weekend, my mom got invited out with a few of her friends and their old boss. She asked if I could watch him. I said yes, as I had nothing to do on a Saturday night, so she brought him over to my place. When he's there, he usually just sits and watches TV, but when he moves around, he completely destroys my bathroom. If I give him food, he leaves a mess on my table without cleaning up, even though he knows he's supposed to. Things took a turn when he went to the bathroom. Thinking nothing of it, I assumed it would just be another mess I'd have to clean up, but I was completely wrong. He crapped in my toilet and backed it up. I tried using a plunger and even went out to get anything that would unclog the drain, but the beast still remains in my pipes as I type this. You need a poop knife.
Dude, true. Honestly, I'm not even lying.
Poop sword.
My parents had to buy an entirely new toilet when I was 10 years old because I kept just destroying it, bro. I would clog it all the time, but I'm great at plunging now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. They had to buy a whole. It literally felt like a tornado on your freaking butt cheeks.
I was constantly at Menards or Home Depot getting supplies to unclog the toilet every month. He has a bad habit of choosing when he wants to take a crap. His record is holding it for 5 days. I'm pretty sure the employees who saw me there all the time thought I was the one backing up the toilets. It got to the point where the pipes were clogged. Literally because of his crap, that my mom had to spend thousands of dollars for a plumber to clear out the drain system. It got so bad that the toilet wouldn't flush and the water started coming into the shower and the laundry room. I'm currently waiting for a plumber to come in, which will be on my off day so they can fix the problem. Until then, I'm technically without a toilet for 5 days, which is just in time for him to lay another
use it again. He's got enough time to charge up. Oh.
Every morning, I have to skip using the toilet and hold it until I get to the gym where I can finally go. As I said at the beginning, I do love my brother, but there is a limit.
Yeah.
I told my mom that he backed up my toilet and that he is not allowed to come back to my place anytime soon. He has repeatedly shown that he has no respect for other people's property, especially since he's not the one paying for it. I told her if she wants me to watch him, I will come over to her house, but he is never to step foot into my place again. For context, I have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo, so having a working toilet is a necessity for me. So am I the a-hole? There is an update. But is OP the a-hole for banning her brother from her house and bathroom?
Not at all, dude. That is, dude, Dookie water is flooding the living room at this point. Like, it is.
These are biblical poops coming out right now.
Yeah, like literally the house is about to be underwater. Like,
oh, and under some poopy water too.
Oh, no.
It's going to be like the
Straight
Nile,
sewage.
bro. Just sediment.
Oh, God.
That ain't clear. That is a brown river. Not like an alpine lake. I can tell you that much.
You know what? I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Like Nesquik, but you just put like 4 scoops into 1 glass of milk because you want it to taste real good. And then it's just super
he just
dark.
Keeps going, chat.
Anyway, we got an update. Basically, after 4 days of not having a toilet, I finally got it unplugged. Thanks to my best friend who I explained my situation to, who went out of his way to get a pump plunger and fix the situation. It took about 15 minutes and we made sure the toilet was flushing properly, and he saved me from hiring a plumber who charges $196 an hour.
Golly.
We did a talk for a minute and he told me that banning my brother is just going to cause a rift, but I should set some boundaries. This being the first offense, he's not allowed to come to my place for 3 months. That is the lock phone screen method.
Dude, on the dot.
Second offense will result in him not being allowed to come for 6 months. Dude, there we go.
This is
They
literally
stole our method.
Straight beautiful.
3, and what would be the final offense will result in him not coming over whatsoever, essentially him being banned. These are stair-step boundaries. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Stair-step boundaries, you know. You don't go immediate no contact. You go increasingly no contact, low to no. Low to no, unless
to
they're
no.
really, really bad.
Unless the foundation of your home has been
Yeah,
cracked and
It's just wrecked.
your home's a sinkhole because of his nuclear turds.
A lot of you have suggested that needs to put into a home cares to those with special needs, as well as having a conversation with my mom in regards to his well-being after she passes. I basically had that conversation with her a long time ago, and she said the state will take care of him if something were to happen to me. Will the state take? I don't know if the state does that. I mean, there's a lot of homeless people just, which came off to me as I got this, bro. Don't worry about it. For context, he is 40 years old and has the mind of a 7-year-old. He is somewhat functional as he can brush his own teeth, shave, and even warm up food in the microwave. It's bigger things such as operating a vehicle or any sort of equipment whatsoever that he does not have the capability of doing. I had talked to my sister about this, 26, a while back, and we had come to the mutual agreement that if one of us were to get him, that we would definitely be putting him in a home as we cannot care for him, especially when it's coming with a financial burden. She grew up having to put up with some of his tantrums and whatnot, but I was the one that had to take some of the heavy lifting stuff. It got worse when she decided to move away. We talked recently again about putting him in a home, and she brought up the point by saying that he's probably not going to one because without him at the house, our mom would be lonely. For context, our dad passed away from cancer in 2001, so our mom had to raise all 3 of us by herself with little to no support from both sides of the family. That's hard. Special needs kid and 3 kids. That's a lot. So me and my sister are very appreciative of everything she's done for us and will do even if we protest. My mom is going to be 62 this year and has about 3 more years till she can officially retire. She's basically done so much for our family that words can't even describe it. I personally think it would be better that she spends those last years without having to worry about caring for my brother when she gets older. She's in good health and in good shape, but it can only last for so long. I know there's going to be people that will probably say that putting him in a home is a terrible thing to do, but do I say unless you've had firsthand experience of dealing with special needs individuals on a daily basis and essentially being a glass child, you will never understand how much it takes on you. I can tell when I see my mom that it's mentally draining to have to put up with his antics and him never showing an ounce of appreciation. As I said in my original post, I do love my brother and will do whatever it takes to keep him safe, but at this point in time, it has gone to the point where he has been told multiple times to stop doing certain things that have been causing problems, and it's going on deaf ears. I mean, okay, really pausing here right quick. Like, it seems like, yes, like the money thing and the drawing on stuff, it was an issue, but it seems like the biggest issue was just the Herculean poops this guy was dropping. And like, that's really not like a special needs thing.
Yeah, we got to just take him to like the gut doctor. Like, what's he eating?
Yeah.
You know, just like three bags of Cheez-Its a day.
Yeah. I think like, I mean, I think we just need to install some of John's toilets or something, and 50% of this would be solved, maybe, because it seems
definitely help.
I don't know. It seems like 50% of the story is focused on the poops,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
It was heavily emphasized.
it was so emphasized, and putting someone in a home is so expensive. Like, just get a good toilet, and maybe you'll be okay.
I will say, not to necessarily be like super pro in this camp. My girlfriend's mom actually works in that position, and she's like essentially like a mom to them. You know, she like cooks them homemade meals, and they live in like a big house, like everyone has their own rooms. Not saying that it's like, oh, they should definitely do that, but I could see with the right situation and specifically like the right caretakers, that being not like it's not like a nursing home like you would imagine. It's like a home with like a very like motherly caring figure. But I don't know if that's the situation in all.
I mean,
of them,
I don't think that's what the state like.
That's
sets you
definitely
up
not
with.
what the state.
That's not what the state sets you up with.
Because OP is saying like, oh, we'll take them to like a state run.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's very
A little different. A little
This
different.
this one's a little premium.
It's a little bougie. If this does happen within the next 2 years, I fear that he will literally drive my mom insane, or she will lose her mind. I've said that I will go over to the house when she wants to go out because I understand that she needs a break for him, but he will not be anywhere near my place for a while. I'm laying this down now because I'm at the point where I just can't do it anymore. And it's gone to the point where I have sometimes resented him when I'm around. To him, it's his world and we are just living in it. By the way, you can listen and live in our world by going to full episodes of this podcast with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but what do we think? What do we think here? Is OP making the right move by basically expediting getting her brother a home?
Yeah.
Does she need a new toilet, and will that solve a lot of her problems? Does the mom actually need a break, like she's saying they do? What do you think?
I think like, what if all 4 of them, like if they said the brother was working, what if it was OP, sister, mom, and brother are all contributing towards like a really good home, like split between 4 people? Is that not a possibility where it's like he's in a good place where he has like good quality care?
I don't think OP wants to take on that kind of responsibility though.
Yeah, and it's like
OP's like annoyed enough when he comes over for like a weekend or something, like
yeah. Oh, not to house him, but to put him in a like not a state sponsored like home.
Oh, you
but
mean
like,
put him in a house with other people?
Yeah. And if
like,
it's split between the 4 of them,
Yeah,
does
maybe.
that like yes, it's like okay, it'll probably pinch their pockets a decent amount, but is that kind of a compromise?
we got a little bit more to this story. I mean, I think I think there's a solution. I don't think it's the worst thing to put him in a home again. Like you're gonna have to do this eventually.
It's a tough one. It's a hard one to answer. Yeah.
But edit. We live in Illinois, so I don't really think how the home systems are here. But I do agree with y'all when you say we have to start looking. Also, I know some of you mentioned if he's ever gotten consequences. To my knowledge, he has not. The worst he's gotten was a scolding, but that was about it. But he knows for me, it was a bit different. I don't, nor will I ever physically discipline him, but he likes to get his hair cut, and that's a big thing for him. So there's been a few times where I told him if he doesn't start behaving right, I will shave his head. Apparently, he thought I was bluffing, so he went around his merry way, continued on with his business. So the next time I cut his hair, I shaved it bald. I'm not gonna lie, it was nice not having to cut his hair every month. That feels a little cruel.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think I got about a good 2 months out of shaving his head. I got yelled at for doing so. I don't care. He was warned.
Dude, OP, you lost me. You absolutely lost me with that one.
Yeah, I don't know how I
Because maybe I'm viewing this wrong. People with experience in these situations would love for you to comment below with your insights and like also your real life experiences. Because I don't have those, but like he said, he was at the same level as like a 7-year-old essentially. So like imagine doing that to a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, he wasn't behaving, so I just like shaved.
I don't know.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at
I
all.
don't like that at all.
I refuse to give my bed to my pregnant stepsister. Now my whole family's mad at me.
Well, maybe she shouldn't have got pregnant in the first place.
Don't know if that's the take. March 10th, 2025. I, 26 male, rent a small 2-bedroom apartment. I live alone, but I use the 2nd bedroom as my office because I work from home full time. My older sister, Lily, 31 female, is 6 months pregnant and soon to be a single mother. By the way, this comes from user Silence Fiction, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. She has some issues with her apartment, in a disagreement with her landlord, and in the process of moving out. So she asked if she could stay with me for a few weeks. Of course, I said yes, and that I would be happy to accommodate her for as long as she needs. She moved in last weekend, and the first thing she did when settling in was pointing towards my bed and saying, "I'll take this one." I laughed, thinking she was joking. Imagine they did hit the Joker laugh like that. Only later in the evening, when I asked her if she needs anything else before going to bed, did she mention that she was not joking about wanting to sleep in my bed. Now, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, and I am quite uncomfortable with the idea of other people sleeping in my bed. I told her that I am uncomfortable letting anyone else sleep in my bed, but I will gladly set her up with my guest bed, which I did used to sleep on before buying my current bed, and I know for a fact is very comfortable and spacious. How are we feeling right now, Riley?
You wanted that bed. Sorry, it's taken. Here's another bed. Solved.
So, then she started guilt-tripping me, saying that since she got pregnant and she's having problems falling asleep, that she needs the bigger, more comfortable bed. I stood my ground and told her I was happy to accommodate her, but I wasn't giving up my bedroom. She sulked, but she took the guest bed. That lasted exactly 2 nights before she started complaining that the bed was too stiff and that she couldn't sleep. I offered to buy a new mattress topper, but she refused. Instead, she tried to pull the "you're my brother, you should want to make me comfortable" guilt trip again. I told her that she's lucky I can even take her in since I work 10 hours a day from home and I do value having a work environment that's private, calm, and quiet. She called me selfish and accused me of not caring about her or her baby. I told her she could take the couch if the guest bed was that unbearable. Well, she did, but exactly for 1 night before turning into an absolute menace. In the 2nd night on the couch, she made sure to sigh loudly all night, accidentally bump into things, and complain the next morning how horrible I was making her feel. The following day, she kept making calls and talking loudly on the phone while I was working. I didn't pay attention to the actual calls and what she was saying, but later it became very clear. In the evening, I started getting phone calls from most, if not all, of my family members. Apparently, she was ranting all day on the phone to my family about how rude and how horrible I was, saying I was trying to make her feel bad and trying to get my family to put pressure on me just to let her sleep in my bed, like she's on a mission or something.
Hey, Uncle Steve, could you send me your email? Oh, hey, Aunt Kate, could you send me your email? Get an email list. Hello, everyone. Just wanted to take ahead of some rumors that are going around. So this is what happened. This is what I did. If you would like to donate for my sister to get a better mattress, donate here. Get her another mattress. If everyone's going to be complaining to you, then they should step up and do something. You've already did a lot.
Right. As soon as he was like, I'll buy you whatever you need to make this other bed comfortable, and she's like, no, that's when I was like, all right, now everyone kind of sucks in the story. If I was the pregnant sister, right, and I'm 6 months pregnant, like I'm in a dispute with my landlord, I don't have anywhere else, so I'm leaning on my brother. And my brother goes, you're even lucky that I let you in because I value peace and tranquility in my working environment. I'd be like, I'm going to leave. I don't want to stay where I'm not wanted, dude. And saying that, get over yourself, bro. What are you doing?
I think he said that in regards, she's like, you're not making me feel comfortable. You're not giving me the bed I want. You're not giving me what I want. I understand that she's pregnant. She does deserve to be comfortable. But OP took her in, gave her a comfortable bed that he used to sleep in. I think the sister's being a little overreacted.
My mom took her side and tore me a new one on the phone saying Lily is carrying a child and I'm being inconsiderate. She also said, I thought I taught you better hospitality than this. I am very disappointed. My aunt called to tell me that my uncle, her husband, used to sleep on the couch and sometimes on the floor next to her when she was pregnant. Even my cousin, who I haven't spoken to in like 2 years, called me to tell me I'm being selfish. I agree with all of them. I'm sorry.
I think she's asking for a lot here. I know she doesn't have a lot of options, but you got a bed. Keon, what do you think?
I would have a genuine conversation with my sister and be like, hey, can you get your own bed? If you really need to get my bed, you can have it for like a week, but then get your own bed. Like a couple days. Not like right off the bat. I'll give a bed for maybe like a couple days and like, hey, you got pregnant. How about to have your partner buy you a better bed? It's not my job to take care of you. Like, yes, I'll take care of you, but it's not my job. I'm not the father of your child.
Well, I don't think he's taking care of her. This is another ice swan situation. So my father is taking my side, telling me to ignore them and that my sister is an F up, that she got in that situation in the first place. Again, like, I feel like there's a lot of layers as to why they're interacting this way. She's going to be a single parent. She probably is not in touch with the father. So there's probably a lot of shame being directed at her from OP and the dad. You know, I don't know. There's a lot going on here. It would just be so chill. I'd be like, yeah, I guess. Sleep in the bed, pregnant sister. You're not going to be here forever. You're going to be here temporarily, regardless.
What about when the baby's born?
She's not living here when the baby's born. I'm not taking care of your baby. That's not on the agenda. I'm not becoming the father of the child. But I feel like my mom is giving him a super hard time in the background because he did sound kind of hesitant when I asked him to have my back. Honestly, I'm just feeling like I'm in the middle of a soap opera drama. My mom is threatening to come take Lily home. Yeah, like that's much of a threat, haha. But she's giving me such a hard time and telling me I disappointed her and that she raised me better. I don't know how to feel about this anymore. Don't feel anything about it. Let your mom take care of her. Am I the a-hole for not letting my pregnant sister sleep in my bed? OP was voted not the a-hole. Here are some top comments. That is a-hole statement.
That's what's happening. Everyone but OP sucks here.
All I have to say is it was your choice to get pregnant. If you are pregnant, great. We'll help you. But you are not queen or king of the castle. You do not get all the accommodations. You can get some help, you know, but that is also up to your partner or whoever, you know, is helping you.
Comment number 1, not the a-hole. Tell your sister your mom has offered to let her stay. So please pack your bags if the guest bed is uncomfortable. Everyone who has called, call them back and ask when they intended to pick your sister up and have her stay with them. Comment 2, get her out of your house ASAP. You're going to end up with her in your room, baby in the guest room, and you're going to be sleeping on the couch. Check your lease and tenancy laws. Do not let her use your address for mail. Seriously, get her out before she gives birth. Ship her off to mom. Was that the plan the whole time? Was the plan for her to just like live there forever? Because if that's the plan, that's not happening. Comment 3, I offered you a place to live, and you have returned that favor by turning a bunch of flying monkeys on me so you can steal my bed on top of the rest of my home. You are disrupting my work and my life. I expect you to be out tomorrow. Maybe one of your flying monkeys will take you in not the a-hole. Comment 4, not the a-hole. And I would just say, oh, sure, that's a perfect plan. You can come tomorrow and pick her up and take her home. I'm sure she will be much more comfortable there than at my place. Why didn't you offer this before knowing how small my place was and knowing that conflicts would happen? But yeah, go ahead, pick her up, because if she continues to disturb my work, well, I don't know how long she can stay in this house in general. I would like to answer a few common questions I saw in the comments. The guest bed is in the living room. It's stored in the second bedroom, which is my office, but whenever I have a guest, I set it up in the living room. The living room space is quite big and can comfortably fit the guest bed, couch, and living room table as well. My parents live a 4.5-hour drive away, and they are the closest family members to my apartment. That is why I didn't initially think of suggesting anyone to come and pick Lily up to take her to their place. I, in fact, did not get my sister pregnant. What the F, guys? Lily is moving out of her current apartment because it is being sold, and the new owners aren't sure if they want to keep renting it. So the reason that she's getting kicked out isn't even her fault. It's not like she's like behind on rent, or it's just the property's being sold out from underneath her and she is in the middle of it.
No sympathy for the single mother. Oh, you're a single mom? You got to get out of here.
The new owners aren't sure if they want to keep renting it or what to charge, so that's why she's moving out. Anyway, here is the update. My mother made the drive over yesterday. She came in quite furious, barely said a word to me, and wanted to just take Lily and leave ASAP. She had that cold, disappointed look on her face, and it broke my heart, honestly. I told them, Lily and my mother, that I wanted to talk and explain my side of the story. I would also like to hear this explanation. I told them both that I didn't want them to leave on bad terms. I sat them down in the living room and explained my side of things. I also decided to show them the original post, and it did help them calm down and made them second guess their opinions. Also, I did believe they were quite embarrassed, judging by the looks on their face when I showed them the post, to see everything written out like that, but they didn't dare to say a word about it. In the end, they both agreed that my apartment is my personal space and also my workplace, and they understood why it was difficult for me to give up my bed. It wasn't totally smooth, though. They still gave me a bit of a hard time, saying that while they do understand my side now, I still could have been the bigger person and just let Lily sleep in my bed. At least they did drop the whole "you're selfish" act. As for the rest of the family, I demanded that my sister called each and every one of them to let them know my side and calm them down. Lily was reluctant at first, but my mother gave her the look, and eventually she came around and told me she'd do it on the drive back to my parents. I was honestly surprised she agreed. My aunt even called me today to apologize, and that was definitely unexpected and very satisfying. Lily is now staying with my parents, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I get news in a few weeks with them ranting about her being entitled in their house. Can't wait to see how they'll handle that one. Hopefully, this is the last time I'll have to deal with this. Lily still needs to move her stuff from her old apartment, which is a 30-minute drive from me, so I know she's going to ask for my help. Not that I would mind. I'd be happy to help her, but I'm worried she might want to come stay at my place again or use my place to store some of her stuff, which you don't need to allow.
Hey, girl, there's a storage unit down the road. We could set you up with that.
Right? Yeah. Or it's like, why don't we take the stuff that you want to store here and store it at the place that you're going to stay at? And by the way, you can stay listening to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime, and there's 53 days worth of stories for you to listen to. Over 2,000 episodes, over 1,270 hours. Wow. There is a little bit more story here. I like where we're at. Do you have any closing thoughts on the situation?
Nah, we know where I lay. I'm just glad the parents stepped up and helped Lily out.
Yeah, that seemed like maybe it should have been the solution from the very beginning, especially because if OP really does have actual, germophobia, because some people are like, I'm a germaphobe, and then they'll just go like, achoo. You don't have germophobia. So if he really is a germaphobe and she really did say like, I need your bed and I refuse to hear anything else you have to say, it's like, OP's not being the a-hole there. However, the lack of sympathy for a pregnant sibling is very startling to me. Let's finish this story. Also, she might bring this whole thing up again, and I couldn't be asked to deal with it once again. That's a problem for another day, though. Hopefully not. Ha 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 ha. So in the end, I believe it turned out the best way possible. And I have you guys to thank for that. And we have some top comments here. Number 1, so naturally, your sister will be sleeping in your parents' bed, right? Since mom doesn't think it's a big deal. Okay, all kidding aside, you handled this perfectly. You were not the a-hole then, and you're still not the a-hole. Comment 2, amazing how busy work is going to be for the foreseeable future and all the tight deadlines you have, and get a coworker to back you up. But you can ask if anyone knows a good moving company, or just dodge her calls, and after she's moved, tell her you needed a break from her after all the drama she caused you. Warn your dad you're going to do this so he can get ready to handle it on his end. Most importantly, remember you don't owe her a thing right now. The way she treated you isn't how you treat family you value when they're doing you a favor. And also, what kind of idiot moves out but doesn't move their stuff? Talk about a preventable problem. Also, check your lease for any limits on how long guests can stay. Comment 3, still not the a-hole. I'm so glad you spoke to them and got the story straight. They sound like they think you're still in the wrong. I honestly would take a big step back from Lily and anyone who was disrespectful to you. Don't help Lily move. Don't help your 6 months pregnant sister move. She needs to figure it out on her own. You were nice enough to her and she tried to take advantage of you. See, this kind of stuff is just like, stop it. It was a moment in time. Now we can move forward. You don't have to hold on to this grudge that she was annoying in your house forever. If your pregnant sister needs help moving her stuff and you want to help her, you can. There's no need to become vindictive over this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't have everybody agree with you all the time. If I had a 6-month pregnant sister, I'd help her move. I don't care if she's annoying.
Seems like a lot, but it's the end of that story.
Yeah, that's the end of that story.
My future brother-in-law wants my boyfriend to break up with me. How do I get him to leave us alone?
Break up with your boyfriend?
Easy. And by the way, this is a direct submission from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
No.
It's one of ours. So thank you.
One of you.
I, 31 female, started dating my boyfriend, 29 male. Let's call him Ethan. 7 years ago, this month, woohoo! Happy anniversary to us. Our relationship started off like any other. Huge sparks at the beginning. Pew, pew. Zero issues, just total bliss. We even moved away together for work. Ethan works in construction, which requires a lot of travel and took me along to a new job as his helper. I got to experience what life would be like away from home for the first time, and Ethan was there to encourage and support me while I learned a lot of new skills at my new job. Life was great. We eventually finished that job and moved back home. Great. Ethan continued working and traveling, doing some other construction jobs, and I found more work at home. By the way, this comes from user Redwood Birdcall on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And just like Redwood Birdcall did, you can submit your stories to our subreddit.
Do it.
So we can read it.
Do it.
Just like this one.
Put them there right now.
Easy. During our first year together, I was introduced to his brother, 38 male. We'll call him Derek. The first time we met was in a group setting with other family present. He was very talkative, opinionated, and wanted to know a lot about moi. He was decent, I guess, but annoying to me personally. A bit too nosy for my taste. Anyway, the next several times we met, he began to be more openly critical, and it got to a point where I started to not really enjoy his company or look forward to us making trips to visit him at all. He dominates the room at all times, and his tone is just always so negative and angry. I know that's rather vague, but it would be nearly impossible to explain all the ways he exhibits this behavior. For example's sake, though, one of Derek's proudest moments that he loves to share at the first chance of opening in conversation is the time he ordered a brewski, but did not like the way the bartender poured it. So he went around to the back of the counter and showed the bartender how to pour it properly. This is how you pour a beer. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Ever tell you a story how I outdid the bartender that one time?
If Derek calls Ethan on the phone and asks what we're up to, let's say we're going out to eat somewhere, he immediately responds by mocking our choice of food for that day. And it's not like just friendly banter poking at us. These comments turn into 20-minute rants about how uncultured we are.
Ugh.
It never fails, and it's gotten to where Ethan avoids even telling him what we're actually doing or where we're going as to avoid being made fun of. So this guy's just really toxic, and he just likes to be a bully.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, you think you're cool, you think you're all that? You never even seen a shred of Derek.
Derek is literally a bully. Derek believes he's the greatest comedic genius since Richard Pryor and uses his jokes as a way to make fun of people. When we're all sitting around as a group, he loves to go around the entire room and pick each person apart about the flaws he sees in them, whether it be physical characteristics or their choice in career, etc. Somehow Derek believes his choices in life are far superior than anyone else's, and he makes sure to let them know it. Naturally, when the person being picked on gets upset or tries to respond back with their own defense, Derek shuts it down by saying he's just joking.
I'm just Derek. I'm just joking.
JK, it's just Derek being Derek.
Just joking.
And tries to make them look goofy for not getting his joke, not realizing he's actually the one making himself look like a jerk. Most people do their best to laugh it off, but the things Derek says to them are really hurtful, and it's easy to see how uncomfortable they start to become. He never stops talking, so everyone in his line of sight is a target, so long as they're within eyesight and earshot of him to make his next victim. This is one of the biggest things that I can't stand about him. He just flat out cannot have a normal conversation with people without putting the whole room on edge. It is exhausting. Derek is also a very proud and passionate agnostic.
Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of being agnostic?
I have no problem with this, but I, however, am a Christian. Oh, I see you. Derek knows this and apparently has a problem with it. He takes every opportunity to mock my beliefs. One example being that he uses swear words that are bothersome to me. Like,
gosh darn.
Yeah.
But the bad one.
I don't mind cussing, but that one in particular just makes my skin crawl, and I can't stand when he says it. I've never once tried to sway his beliefs or make him share the same beliefs as me. He simply is aware that I am a Christian, and to Derek, it's one more opportunity for him to push my buttons and have a reason to make fun of me. Outside of religious views, Derek cusses like a 12-year-old little boy who learned a new cuss word for the first time. Great. It's literally every other word that comes out of his mouth. I actually don't think I've ever heard him complete a full sentence without there being a harsh language thrown in the mix. Ethan has even politely asked him to please reduce his use of bad language when he's around us. It's just a respect thing. Derek just flat out doesn't know when to stop or how to read the room. Because the room is always his. He wants to be the center of attention, so he doesn't care how he gets it.
Like, you can be the guy who, like, curses a lot, but when people around you are like, can you not do that? You need to be, like, respectful and be like, all right.
Just chill with the kids. When there's families around, like, it's okay. Like, if there's no kids around, I don't care. But if there's kids around, I don't like being a bad influence.
Yeah.
That's the one time I'm like, filter your language. That's really what it boils down to. Whatever's on his mind, he's going to say no matter who it's directed to or how it might affect that person. In my unprofessional opinion, the man is certifiably insufferable, LOL. Ethan, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of his brother Derek. Ethan is kind-hearted, quick to listen, and slow to speak. He is hardworking, compassionate, patient, and would truly do anything for anyone and never expects anything in return. We love Ethan, lol. One flaw Ethan used to struggle with, though, however, was standing up to his older brother. Again, Derek the Bull. For a long time, what Derek wanted is what Ethan provided, until he had finally had enough. Over the years, Ethan has grown tired of his brother's constant bullying and negativity toward life, and has really come to realize just how toxic Derek's behavior is. The last several years, I've also managed to start speaking up for myself and Ethan by putting my foot down whenever Derek disrespects us. Nice. I've maintained a level head at all times when communicating with him, but I've been very stern in order to make sure he knows that he does not get to walk all over us anymore. Let's just say, Derek met his match when he met me. He can't stand me because of this. The man can dish it, but he absolutely cannot take it.
Oh, we all know those people.
I previously shared another post about Derek's antics. Feel free to check that out. It's a doozy. And I thought that after a few years of letting things calm down, that we would move on and found a common ground by now. Clearly, by me writing this post, we have not. Well, let's get to present day. For additional context, I have to also let you in on some personal things I've been dealing with that have contributed to Derek not wanting Ethan to be with me. I mean, you're putting Derek in his place. 2024 has been a hard year for me. For whatever reason, my body decided that all the trauma from my past was going to bubble up, and it's really been taking its toll on me. I've been struggling with my mental health, which has unfortunately manifested in some physical symptoms such as blurred vision, dizziness, fatigue, and social anxiety. The total opposite of who I am when I'm at my best. Typically, I'm a busy bee, love hanging out with my friends and family, and absolutely cannot sit still to save my life. I love going nonstop. It's fun to me. Usually. Earlier this year, I unfortunately had to give up a couple jobs that I really loved because of my inability to show up and be dependable. I left these jobs more so out of guilt to my companies rather than being let go as some might assume. It was a decision I made on my own, along with my doctor's recommendation to take medical leave. Okay. Unfortunately, my roles needed to be filled, and I made the decision to resign so that my companies could find solid help to take over until I could return. To make a long story short, I fully cut ties with both companies because there just didn't seem to be an end in sight for what I've been battling. It was for the best.
Oh, man. Well, I hope whatever is going on, OP, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are workaholics or just love to work nonstop, and it will eventually catch up to you. People deserve a break. They deserve a break, or even just a mental break. Take it. You deserve it. Ethan was in full support of me taking the time off that I needed, and has done nothing but help me find answers since day one. He even went online and found different supplements for me to try and some eye exercises for me to practice every day in hopes of regaining control of my vision and overcoming the blurred vision I get when I have anxiety attacks. He loves me so good, and he's been so caring and supportive of me, even on my worst days. Despite all of these setbacks, Ethan and I had actually been searching for our own home to purchase, and in July of this year, we found the one! My family was over the moon excited with our news and so supportive of us finally making big steps to make our relationship further. We get a lot of jokes about not being married yet, but we believe slow and steady wins the race. Smiley face. And it's working for us. As you might imagine, Derek was not happy to hear that Ethan was buying a home with me. He sent Ethan several lengthy texts about how he felt that Ethan and I are incompatible and that it would be a mistake to buy a home with me. Ethan told him that he was planning on marrying me and for Derek to stop projecting his own experiences onto us. Derek was previously engaged to a girl he owned a home with that went south and ended in a nasty breakup. This is the other story on my page. Derek was so bothered by us having our own home that he actually blocked me on Facebook over it. So he didn't have to see our announcement post, LOL. I have message receipts to prove this.
Cool.
Anyway, despite his disapproval, we moved in, and a couple months later, I managed to start up my own small business working from home. Let's go! Over OP, one of our family.
A small business
Good
owner.
for you.
Mwah.
A win-win, because I can start earning my own money again while having full control over my own schedule. This allows me to rest and recharge as often as I need to and still earn a decent income. And my business has been pretty successful too. Ethan has even joined me part-time with the hopes of eventually leaving construction altogether and making this our full-time gig. We're very excited. Recently, we had a get-together with about 6 friends over, and Derek was going to come too. Ethan thought it would be a good idea to give Derek a call before the get-together to ask him to please take it easy, be nice to everyone, and to watch his language. Do you think that's going to happen?
I'm sure that won't set Derek off.
Just laying some ground rules and placing some boundaries. We are not out to change anyone, but we do expect there to be a certain level of respect when entering into our home, as it is our safe space, and we do not want there to be negative energy as long as we can avoid it. Derek agreed to chill out. All right. But upon arriving, he announced to the entire group of friends that he would be on his best behavior, as he was instructed to do so by Ethan and I. He even went as far as counting every time a cuss word slipped out and mocking us by saying, "Oops, there's another one. I better not get up to 20 cuss words, or I won't be welcome back here ever again." Everyone in the room looked confused, and the whole atmosphere shifted from lighthearted and fun to just awkward. By the end of the night, after Derek left, everyone was talking about how uncomfortable he made them and how he just does too much, which I'm inclined to agree with. I was so embarrassed and honestly so mad for several days that I just couldn't get it out of my mind, and I could feel it starting to negatively impact my mental health progress. By this point, Derek hadn't blocked me on Facebook, so I took it upon myself to go ahead and block him from my end. I did this for my own peace. It didn't take Derek long to notice this, and he promptly texted Ethan to question him about it. Ethan plainly said, "I don't know, man. and left it at that. A couple weeks ago, Ethan received another lengthy text out of the blue from none other than Derek. And this is about how much of a massive red flag I am.
Right, Derek, master of red flags.
It is I, Derek.
I have a red belt in flags. His text was in reference to my mental health issues and how he believes that I will waste away in bed and Ethan will have no quality of life being with someone like me. He said I will never get better. I will only get worse.
Oh my God.
I genuinely don't think he realizes how much I actually do working from home. But it's not up to me or Ethan to explain our livelihood to him. Ethan didn't respond to him. In fact, he didn't even read Derek's entire text. Ethan told me that he read the first couple lines and knew where it was headed and just decided to ignore it. I, however, did read the message.
No.
Tonight, Ethan and I had a very long conversation about what to do about Derek. I'm not even sure there's a solution to dealing with someone who is hell-bent on trying to take away our happiness. Thankfully, Ethan sees it like this. We have too much going on that we're working to make better, my mental health, than to place any energy into an angry person's opinions of us.
Literally completely irrelevant what Derek thinks about you guys.
I love my fella so much for the way he has encouraged me and continues to gently push me to become who I am meant to be. He holds my hand through my bad days, and he celebrates with me on my good days. He knows as well as I do that this season is only temporary and that we still have such a full life to live together. I will not give up on getting better and on one day becoming the wife he deserves to have. I refuse to let a bitter person take away the love Ethan and I have built. Boy, is Derek in for a surprise when I make a comeback.
And you can come back again and again and again and listen to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Story Time, and that's all you need to do to find the archive.
Let's just finish the story. We don't want Derek.
We know what we're doing. We're ignoring Derek. That's all we need to do.
I feel like we've exhausted all we know to do outside of cutting him off completely. What should we do? The last thing I want is for Ethan to lose his relationship with his brother, but I am so exhausted of dealing with this. I would appreciate some advice if anyone has any to share. Thank you. Plain and simple, tell Derek, you tell him, hey, this is how you make us feel. You're not respecting our boundaries. If you keep doing this, we're cutting ties. It's plain and simple. If Derek does not get that, boom. It's so straightforward and to the point that you don't need to walk around or beat around the bush here. It's, hey, you're being so negative towards us. We don't need it in our lives. So what are we going to do? Boom.
I disagree with this take.
Oh.
Which is weird because you said what is technically like the right thing to do. But I think we need to treat Derek like he's a 6-year-old that just asked, like, why does war happen? You can't really explain to a 6-year-old child the intricacies of geopolitical warfare.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's not a 6-year-old.
But I know
you
he's
can't
not,
treat him
but
like
you
a
have to
6-year-old.
treat him like one because the inane babble that comes out of his mouth when he's talking about you and your husband is irrelevant. It doesn't matter at all. So you're like, you just said in that last sentence, you're like, I'm so exhausted by this. I'm so tired of this. But your husband got that text message and didn't even read it. And you decided to read it. You didn't need to do that. You need to follow your husband's lead here and just completely stop caring what this guy has to say in terms of his color commentary about your freaking relationship. It's not influencing your husband at all, so it doesn't matter. It shouldn't influence you either because he is clearly a doofus that you don't need to listen to.
It's getting exhausting at this point. And like you said, your mental health is what matters most here. That what do we need to do here that is best for you?
Because if you, the other thing is if you like do confront Derek about it and you're like, your goal is like, I don't want to blow up my husband's relationship with his brother.
Right.
If you confront him about this, you're blowing it up, dude. It's going to blow up. So you have to treat him like a little baby boy. But really the point is it's like, the main takeaway here is OP is like, I'm exhausted by this. Stop engaging. You don't need, there's no other solution here, but to just don't entertain his mumbling, jumbling.
His semantics. But also talk to Ethan. Talk to Ethan. He
let him take point because it's his brother. You're worried about blowing up his situation.
Yeah.
Just worry about what he wants to do about it.
My nephew wrecked my gaming setup. Now I'm taking my sister to court.
That's definitely not a very pro gamer move.
April 11th, 2025. Hi, Reddit. I'm female 25, and I'm honestly at my breaking point with this one. I need outside perspective because my entire family is acting like I'm for standing my ground. By the way, this comes from OKJelly6298, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I, 25 female, am a student software developer and pretty serious PC gamer in my free time. I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment that I've spent years making cozy and functional. I saved up for a long time to build my dream PC setup: triple monitors, custom mechanical keyboard, ergonomic chair, the works. Altogether, my rig is worth a bit over $2,000, and I take care of it like it's a dang child. Last weekend, my older sister, 30 female, asked if she could crash at my place for one night because her apartment was being fumigated and her husband was out of town. She has a 3-year-old son, Max, who, let's say, is spirited. I love him, but he's a little chaos goblin. I hesitated, but she swore that she'd keep an eye on him and that it would just be for one night. They show up Saturday afternoon, and immediately it's clear that she wasn't kidding about Max being harmful. Within 10 minutes of arriving, he had pulled 4 books off my shelf, thrown my houseplants on the floor, spilled juice on my area rug.
Well, at least it wasn't your juice.
Within 10 minutes. Yeah, at least it's not your juice.
Yeah, so that is
a true chaos demon.
That's a little above my pay grade if that's my place.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, hey man, I get it.
Yeah.
He's 3.
3.
I can't be letting him damage my abode.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
property.
I let him in. Okay. I tried to stay chill. He's 3. I get it. But I asked my sister politely to please keep him out of my office where my PC setup is. She rolls her eyes and goes, he's just exploring. He's curious. It's normal. But she closes the office door anyway. Cut to Sunday morning. I wake up to screaming. Max had apparently woken up before his mom, managed to open the office door, and decided that my setup was his new jungle gym. He pulled down one of my monitors, cracking the screen. He stuck crackers into the PC tower's ventilation slots. I'm not kidding. Yanked out my keyboard's keycaps and had colored on my chair with permanent marker. And the cherry on top, he poured apple juice into the tower. Into it. That's bad.
Oh, yeah. This isn't like he's spirited. This is like he has like literal behavioral issues.
Yeah.
And needs to have it addressed by professionals.
Absolutely.
Because that, or at the very least, like, mom, start parenting your child.
Yeah.
What are we doing? How did we get to where the kid thinks this is okay?
Yeah.
I know they're 3.
Sure. But the mom thinks it's okay. That's what's happening. The mom is just like, he's just curious.
Are we correcting anything?
Kids just
at
do
all?
that. When I tell you I went silent, I mean passed away silent. My sister comes in, sees the damage, and just says, "Oh no.
Oh no."
In this incredibly flat tone, like someone knocked over a cup of coffee. Let me actually read you that. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I start freaking out, and she has the audacity to say, "You probably should have baby-proofed the room if it was that important to you."
Girl, you've been here for less than 24 hours. I didn't know I needed to lock down this place like Fort Knox.
For real. You're not going to baby-proof something if you don't have a baby. You close the door.
Yeah.
How is a 3-year-old going to open a door? They're 3. They're small.
Yeah.
I lost it. I told her that 1, she knew he wasn't supposed to be in there. 2, this is my space, not a dang daycare. And 3, baby-proofing a $2,000 gaming setup is not a standard requirement for adults living alone. She told me to calm down and said that he's just a kid and stuff is replaceable. And I told her that she could replace it then. She said that she didn't have the money right now, but maybe in a few months she could give me a few hundred. I told her that that wasn't acceptable and that she needed to take full responsibility. Absolutely. She left in a huff, and now my whole family is blowing up my phone. My mom says I'm being materialistic and should understand that my nephew didn't mean it. My dad said that I should have locked the door if it was that important. My brother actually said, "Why do you even need 3 monitors anyway? That's kind of overkill."
What is wrong
Dude,
with
if they
this
saw
whole
us,
family?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I've filed a claim with my insurance, but there's no guarantee it'll be covered since it was technically guest damage. I also told her that if she does not pay up, I'll take her to court for what happened. Now I'm getting texts from my sister demanding an apology for blaming her kid for being curious. I told her that I would drop it if she covered the cost of repairs and placements, or at least met me halfway. And she blocked me. All right, we're going to court. Pack the bags. We're going to court.
It's time to lawyer up, girl, and you might want to get some money for that because it's going to now be more expensive because you're going to have to pay for a lawyer and then you're going to have to pay me.
Yeah. So, am I overreacting if I take my sister to court over this? We do have a small update. Wow. Just wow. 4 hours later, I wake up from my nap to this. Thank you guys. It'll take a bit for me to read all of this. But my sister has still not unblocked me, but her husband reached out to find out what happened. I'm sorry I don't have more to tell yet, but I'll update again when I do. Seriously, thanks for the insights, everyone. My head is a lot clearer now. And we do have another update. I think we know our answer though, right? We don't think it's unreasonable.
No.
No. Go ahead.
Sue.
But we do have an update.
Let's go.
Oh. So, hey y'all, my sister's husband reached out as mentioned earlier, and we're working out a solution if possible. He's been really understanding, and as have all of you.
Oh, W brother-in-law, dude. W brother-in-law. Let's go.
Also, to clarify the office situation, my 1-bedroom apartment is on the smaller side, 33 meh.
355 square feet. Ooh, that is small.
Is that supposed to be meters?
That's like a New York
square
apartment
meters
right there. I think that's probably like maybe that's smaller than this room.
355 square feet?
It might be.
Maybe, yeah. So the landlord converted an old ex's clothes cabinet into a makeshift office. It's weird, but the building is from the 40s, and I guess they had to get creative with the space with an old tenant or something. So it's living room, sister and her kids slept there, plus the kitchen, I slept there, and the office. So thanks for all the support and the award. I really don't have the words for how nice people have been in both DMs and the comments. So some of OP's comments. OP responds to some of the comments. I really appreciate your comment. I feel as if you nailed exactly how I've been feeling, but couldn't articulate it in the moment. Wish we saw what that was commenting on, but it's okay. It's comforting to know that I'm not totally off base here. I will need to see what I'm willing to do with this situation. I don't want to lose my family, but I don't want to start begging to be heard either. So thank you. OP on going no contact. Yeah, I'm not ready to go full no contact right now, but I really appreciate your perspective. It's definitely something I'll keep in mind if things keep escalating and no one starts showing even a little bit of respect for my boundaries. I just want accountability, not drama. But if they keep pushing, I won't hesitate to step back. I don't think I want to know my family if they can't appreciate the work I put into my hobbies. Thank you for the insight. Got some commenter downvoted questions. Does your office door lock? If so, why wasn't it locked? How was this unattended 3-year-old able to get his hands on crackers and apple juice in an apartment that he is presumably not familiar with? Why were these items so easy for him to get to?
I'm going to answer those questions ahead of time.
You got it.
All right. 3-year-old wakes up, gets into the bag that their mom probably brought with them, and gets the snackies.
Yeah, probably not that hard.
Next question.
If you knew in advance that he and your sister were coming, why didn't you make any effort to either secure delicate or important items or move them somewhere that he can't reach? OP does respond. Responds to the first question. The office is a converted clothes closet. The door has no lock. It's just a heavy old door. To be honest, I've been wondering if my sister might have opened it for him. I just don't get why. And on the crackers and juice, they weren't mine. Sister brought them. I had no idea that he had access to them during the night until after the fact. But
Boom.
I would trust Dakota's guess there.
Snack bag.
Snack bag. And then to the third question, I didn't get much notice. I saw her message around 10 a.m. Saturday, and they arrived around 2 p.m. same day. My place was a mess, so I spent most of the time cleaning before they came by. In hindsight, yeah, I should have been more cautious with my setup, but it didn't even cross my mind that anything like this would have happened, as I thought the office area was inaccessible to him.
Yeah, you know, that is a good point, because that I feel like informs why the sister was being like, you're just mad because he was being curious. And it's like, well, why? How could you possibly say that? But then that would make sense if she was the one who saw him like he wanted to go in that room, and then she's opened the door.
Yeah.
So that's why she's being defensive, because she knows all of this is her fault.
Right.
But she won't admit that.
Of course
now
not.
she's going to make it like, you're a monster who's trying to yell at my kid.
Right. But OP continues on that. What he did pull off the shelves was moved higher up and out of reach and in an area where he could be kept an eye on. Interesting. So maybe she did take some things down and let him into the office if he couldn't even reach it.
I again, it's like, I think given that it's a big door, he's 3 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, I bet you this is not a parent that screams like, I set boundaries. It's probably more just like, I don't know if it's like a soft parenting or whatever those parenting styles are.
Right.
But I bet you it's like, you know, there's no corrections. Nothing is ever wrong. Nothing ever needs to be
That's just how babies
changed.
are.
Like, oh, baby wants to go in that room. Baby gets to go in that room.
Yeah.
Oh, baby wants to smush crackers and apple juice into the computer. Baby gets to do that.
Right. No. But we do have a second update. Would you look at that?
No.
This one is on April 16th, 2025, 5 days later. These are recent.
Oh, yeah.
Hey again, just just wanted to post a quick update since it's been a little under a week and a few people asked what happened next. Things are better, pretty effing weird and still ongoing, but here's where we're at. Last Saturday, my brother-in-law came over to check out the damage himself. He actually brought Max, the toddler, with him, which I was almost livid about at first, but he had a reason. He asked Max to try opening the office and closet door. I like where this is going.
We're gathering evidence now.
And guess what? The kid couldn't do it. The door was too heavy for him. You can probably guess where this is going. Brother-in-law offered to take my PC to the store that originally built it for me just to see what was fixable. I agreed, but asked for something in writing just so I had some peace of mind. We put together a little agreement that he'd be responsible for it while it was with him. Yeah, it was just a formality and would not hold much merit anywhere, but it helped me feel a little bit more in control. On Monday, he dropped it off at the shop and gave them my number so that they can keep me updated. He also told me that he confronted my sister about how things played out. I sent him my original Reddit post too. He read the comments and apparently showed them to her. She still hasn't unblocked me, and from what I've heard, was not happy about the fact that my brother-in-law is actually listening to me. I also shared the post and some comments with my parents and brother since no one really believed me before. My parents still don't fully get it, but they've at least stopped pushing back. My brother is more understanding now, though for some reason he mostly wanted to talk about how many people saw the post. I don't think either of those three still really care, and I'm fine if they see this. Do better. Anyway, I went to see the PC today, Wednesday here. The shop said that it's mostly salvageable. It needs a very, very careful internal clean and a few fans replaced and some wiring fixed, but overall the main parts survived somehow.
Thank goodness.
For real.
The motherboard. The motherboard is intact.
Brother-in-law told me that he'll cover the cost of repair, no hesitation. When I brought up what my sister said about not being able to pay even $200, he said she's lying.
Dude, what's going on?
Of course. He also said he's not sure Max actually did all the damage. He thinks the door was left open on purpose or that my sister might have even done some herself. The sister's over here like pouring apple juice and smushing crackers and stuff.
Yeah,
she's just like, oh, he's the kid. It's the kid.
Why? Where did this come from?
Dude, I don't know.
What is the history we're missing here that this is based on?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Gotta be other crazy things that the sister has done. No doubt. But continuing on. Based on the height of the tower and where the crackers ended up, it didn't quite add up to a toddler acting alone. Apparently, she's been telling him I have a gambling problem. I did get a bit hooked on Genshin like 4 years ago, I guess, and that maybe this whole thing will wake me up, which is new. She used to be supportive or at least indifferent. No idea where that switch came from.
I bet it came from the baby.
You
so
think?
there's probably like I don't respect your hobby. I don't respect what you like, but I'm also kind of jealous that you lack the responsibilities in your day-to-day that I have to have, namely like my child. So it's like this computer is like an expression of, in a way, your freedoms that I don't have. So I'm going to destroy it because I'm a jealous, vindictive sister.
Right. And maybe even if she wasn't like, oh, like you're free, so I'm going to get revenge. Maybe she's just like, well, you get to, like, same kind of thing, but just like you get to be free. So this won't even matter to you.
Yeah.
And I can totally do all this and express all this anger in stupid little ways and you'll be fine. Right? Wrong. Wrong. So yeah, that's where we're at. My PC is being cleaned up and fixed and brother-in-law is covering the cost. Woohoo! Sister still has me blocked and won't talk to me. Boo. I'm still tempted to start something with my sister, TBH, but especially if she actually did all of this on purpose. I'm still not ruling out small claims court depending on how things go. Thanks again to everyone who responded to the original post. Seeing how many people understood what happened really helps me hold the line with my family when I felt like I was losing my mind. One thing I've been turning over in my head lately is what if my sister did do something to my setup on purpose? I don't want to believe that. It feels like such a stretch, but the more I think about it, the less. So I guess. But then I remember how she acted when I asked her to keep Max out of the office. The eye roll and the he's just curious comments, like she didn't take any of it seriously. And now hearing from my brother-in-law that she's been saying I have a crippling gaming, gambling, whatever, regular user problems and need to grow up. It's just weird. She used to be so cool about it. Never super into games herself, but she got that it was important to me. If something changed, I don't know when or why. And if this was some weird way to make a point or teach me a lesson, that's messed up. You're not our mom. How about talking first instead of this? I don't want to jump to conclusions, but the more I think about it, the less it makes sense that Max could have done all that alone. It's sick if she blamed her own son for it.
Yeah, and not in like the cool way, like in the like
it's
actually
sick.
like that's
Yeah.
twisted.
Absolutely. So yeah, not accusing anyone outright, but that thought is there now. And if you're my sister reading this, which I'm guessing you are, because I bet you'd love to look at the comments that are on your side a lot. I don't know why you blocked me. I don't know what shifted in your head about all this, but if you actually had anything to do with damaging my setup, whether it was on purpose or just through complete carelessness, F you. You know I worked hard for that. You know what that rig meant to me, and you know that I would never do something like this to your stuff. And by the way, what you know, all of our listeners, is that we have more full episodes of stories just like this one. Just go to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, and whatever your favorite podcast app is, we'll be there under r/OK Storytime.
We're even on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can just listen.
Just listen and watch. Listen or watch. But there still is a little bit more to the story, but what's going on over here?
I think I'm just like doing everything through brother-in-law now.
Yeah,
and
Good.
you know, just handle it that way.
Good.
I don't think she's gonna want to come back around, but I wouldn't let her back around anyway.
Yeah.
Not in your space.
I'm really wondering like what else she will get up to in her life and blame on her child. He's only 3 and she's destroying property and all this stuff and like letting her child destroy all this stuff and just like being like, oh, he's just curious.
Well, it's just so hard to imagine she'd do that in other contexts. I feel like you have this entire sibling dynamic that's been there for so long, and who knows like where this could be coming from. But my gut is it's like because she can game and have these hobbies and doesn't have a kid of her own, and clearly like the sister's kid is like whether you like special needs or neurodivergent or whatever, like has a higher degree of like care and attention required.
Yeah.
She's probably stressed out by all that and is just like, you know what? Screw yeah. And in her own weird head, she's like, I'm actually helping her. I'm helping her grow up and let go of her gaming problem.
Right.
And it's like, well, you're actually just doing destruction of property.
Exactly. And just not just blaming it on everyone else, even your 3-year-old son.
You're criming and blaming it on your toddler.
On your son.
You're
dude.
criming.
Dude. So if Max really did all of this on his own, I hope you're paying closer attention now. Not for my sake, but for his. Read the comments in my first post again from the other parents and people with younger siblings who clearly know better than you. That's all. Thanks for reading those of you who did. And there are some comments. Commenter number 1 says, wait, I thought the whole family was blowing up your phone telling you how mean you were. OP, yes, a week ago, before my first post. Is there something I can clarify for you here? My sister was talking incredible smack about me to them, making it seem like I screamed at her child over a minor mistake. I do see people going, haha, blowing up her phone, and I don't understand what is wrong with the wording. Commenter says, I think ChatGPT is being used a lot on Reddit lately, especially in Am I the A-hole type subs. And a common indicator is that it's a fake post is that AI always uses blowing up my phone phrase. Interesting. That's
I'm going to start using
to
blowing
know.
up my phone in everything that I write.
Everything.
Just to combat AI.
Yeah,
Be
there you go.
blowing up my phone.
Commenter number 2 says, I'm really glad that things are turning for the better. But what about the other damages, like the gaming chair and keyboard, etc.? OP says, my chair is okay. The cushion, legs, and back are stained with red permanent marker, but I've learned to live with it. Coworkers and I are trying to find a chemical to fix the situation on the cushions, but an ethanol solution, small amounts, I don't want to ruin the chair further, has slowly been working at cleaning the other parts. Being a janitor does have its perks. And the keyboard, I could not find all the keycaps that were pulled off. I replaced the missing ones with an old keyboard's ones, both mechanical. So it's a bit awkward, but it works for now. I might get some custom ones for it if I find some that fit. The cracked monitor, on the other hand, needs to be replaced. I guess calling it cracked was a kindness in itself. Still got the other 2 left, and at least it wasn't the most expensive one, but yeah. Another commenter says, why aren't you just having your brother-in-law pay for a new keyboard and monitor? Or professional cleaning for the chair? That's all part of the repairs. OP says, we're waiting to see if my sister confesses to anything. If so, she will be paying out of her own pocket and paying back, not my brother-in-law. If she confesses and refuses, then, well, the computer is essential, but the keyboard works and I still have 2 monitors. That's why I'm willing to wait for the other damage to be resolved. Now on the gambling problem. I'll admit during the vid, I did spend $30 on Ganyu when she came out, but that was the worst of it. And it was so worth it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't play much more, mostly stuck on Marvel Rivals right now, but the overall margin from Genshin release to this day, I've spent under $600. I get it. Even that might look crazy to people who don't play video games, but sheesh. Gambling problem? Bruh.
I don't know, dude. I like you can't tell anybody what to spend their money on, but
Yeah.
like $300 for one character in a theoretically free game. That's almost
Yeah.
like an entire different game console. That's like
Yeah.
that's like 5 AAA games
Right.
that you can. That's like hundreds of hours of gameplay.
Yeah. I know, but and then I think about it too, because my brother plays video games and he likes card games and stuff, and he'll like mention dropping like $400 on stuff, and I'm like, like what? That's so much money. And then I think about me at the fabric store, and I'm like, okay, I gotta take a step back.
It's all relative. Some
Yeah.
people would be like, you're spending $400 on fabric. Meanwhile, some
Right.
people are like, you're spending $300 on a video game
Yeah.
character. It's
Yeah.
like, it's all relative.
Hobbies are just expensive if you're really into them. So she should be more concerned of what I spend on Pokemon packs in this economy if she's going to be concerned over something. Exactly. And that's the end of that story. So.
People, I used to work in the industry. Don't buy packs. Buy cards.
Yeah.
Buy what you want. Don't waste your money on random packs.
You heard it here first, folks. That sounds like great advice, though.
I mean, yeah, if you're a collector, collect the things you like.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy the experience of a random pack, do that. But
Sure.
don't just like be like, all right, I'm going to get 35 packs so that
Yeah.
hopefully I can get this one card. It's like,
Right.
you can
Just buy
buy that
what you
one
want.
card
Yeah.
for a fraction of the cost of all of those packs.
Right. I never want to talk to my sister again after how she behaved at my wedding.
You're in timeout.
Am I the a-hole for not talking to my sister after my wedding?
I don't think so.
I, 36 female, now married to my 41 male husband as of March 14th, 2025. This story starts all the way back in February 2022. I planned a whole week to ask my only sister, 41, now to be my mother-in-law. I arranged a special weekend at a spa and hotel with just the two of us. I had called a local bakery to make custom donuts that asked her to be my maid of honor. Oh my gosh, that's so
Aw.
cute. She was thrilled with the idea of being my maid of honor. Our wedding was scheduled for 2.5 years from this date because we were planning a destination wedding and wanted to ensure people could save for the trip as we just came out of the vid lockdown. By the way, this comes from Review Background 2376 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, the planning started a little more than a year to our wedding date, February 2024, with shopping for my wedding dress. I had an image of how I wanted our wedding. All the girls in yellow dresses, a sentimental color between my fiance and I. That's cute. Each matching the colors, but could pick their own dress style. I asked my 2 cousins to stand, my best friend, let's call her Shelly, and her little sister, plus my sister and my new daughter, my fiance's daughter. First, Shelly and I have been growing apart for a few years, as she wasn't thrilled that I was no longer living the single life and partying all the time. I feel this is kind of the normal thing as we grow older and hopefully get into serious relationships looking to get married and start families. My best friend Shelly from childhood, who now would not answer any call nor text messages to arrange bridesmaids dress shopping or acknowledge my existence. I had a Facebook group chat with the bridesmaids that I ended up deleting both of them as neither of them would engage nor answer any of my attempts to message them over the course of 3 weeks. I was left beside myself as when Shelly did eventually reach back almost a month later, and she had told me that the reason that she didn't even respond to my text was because she didn't feel well. Yet I found out that she was engaging with others in our friend group during this period. After Shelly and I decided to go our separate ways, clearly her sister followed suit. It wasn't devastating to my plans. Now I was down to my sister, my 2 cousins, and my soon-to-be daughter, so I just wanted to focus on the next steps. My sister had the idea that she wanted to wear a tiara to my wedding. I told her I wasn't comfortable with this as she was in the bridal party, and she was more than welcome to wear one for her wedding as she wasn't supposed to be a focal point at mine. It kind of set the tone on how my sister was about to start acting during this process. She made it known that this wasn't going to be about me, but about her and what she wanted. Oh, lovely.
I'm sorry, wait. She made it clear that your wedding wasn't about you?
She asked if she could wear a crown, like a little tiara as a bridesmaid. And then I think OP is kind of just saying that was the tipping point to like all the other things that happened that like made her want to be like the focal point pretty much. We haven't seen the examples yet.
No,
But,
no.
My then fiance and I decided together on what the groomsmen and bridesmaids were going to wear for our wedding. We picked a color scheme that had a sentimental meaning to both of us. The groomsmen were going to wear a light gray suit without jackets, just a vest, as it was a Caribbean destination and we didn't want them to be hot. And the bridesmaids were going to wear a yellow that had meaning to us early in our relationship. As I said before, they could pick any style of dress that suited them, just in that color. It came time to do some dress shopping. Myself, my mother, my sister, and my daughter went to 2 boutiques the first day, and on the second day, we went to the 3rd boutique. In the process of looking at wedding dresses, they had a whole section for bridesmaids' dresses at the 3rd boutique. I started looking, and voila, I found the color that we were looking for. A stunning yellow dress. Both my mom and daughter were ecstatic as it was a beautiful color. My sister didn't like it. In fact, she told me, I'm not wearing that. I'll wear whatever color I want to.
You'll wear whatever color she tells you to, girl.
Yeah, or you'll be sitting in the stands.
Or you won't be there. But
Yeah.
then Opie doesn't have any bridesmaids.
She's got like her soon-to-be daughter. And it's like it, dude. Well, and she's got a couple cousins, I think, still, but
Still, we gotta find you some new friends, girl.
yeah. Mind you, this is my older sister and maid of honor. This left my daughter, mother, and workers at the store in awe that she would be so rude. It caught me off guard to the point that I started to cry and told her that it would be best if she left the fitting.
Yeah, let's just make your daughter the maid of honor.
Yeah, honestly,
At that point,
that's great. That's
Yeah.
super cute.
and then she's like, I don't want to wear that. And you go, you're my daughter. You have to.
You have to.
This
Just
is
do
the
what I
rules.
say.
I make the rules. I'm your mom.
Make the rules. I had told my cousins and showed them the color in which they loved it, and they would in fact wear anything as it was my wedding and doing this was normal. After Shelly had stepped down, there was a difference in the number of groomsmen to bridesmaids, so I decided to ask another cousin if she would want to stand. She said yes, and it seemed that everything was back on track. I was holding my ground with my sister as we all felt that she was being a little selfish with her refusal. Now, 1 year to the wedding. Now it's March 2024, and it's time to officially book with the travel agent and lock in our spot for the resort. My husband and I didn't want the traditional bachelor and bachelorette party. We had planned separate events. He was going to go paintballing with the guys, and we were doing a wine tasting and an Airbnb with the ladies. We created a Facebook group for the wedding to ease communications with the travel agent and updates with any planning and events. We had gotten an amazing group rate from the travel agent. It was now time to put deposits down for the trip. My husband's side was a smooth operation as everyone didn't have any issues with this. But when it came to my side, my cousins and bridesmaids had informed me that over the last 2 years, neither of them saved a single dollar as they were hoping that their mother, my aunt, would cover the cost for them as she was well off. When she told them that that wasn't happening, they would need to pay for themselves. They reached out to tell me that they would no longer be attending the wedding, and my third cousin said that she was planning on getting pregnant and wouldn't be attending as well because she would be too close to her due date to travel. They canceled the bridesmaids weekend last minute, sticking me with the entire Airbnb too late to get a refund. Oh my gosh, this sucks.
I think what we do, we go to a new country, start over, new friends.
Start over. Dude, for
New
real.
friends.
New
Whole
friends.
new friend group, whole new family. We find a family, we go into their house, we break into their house. We say, hey, you looking for a new daughter? They say, yes, because it's a perfect world.
Yeah.
Of
course.
And new family.
Yeah. That sounds like a
Perfect.
great plan.
Yeah.
I think you should tell OP that.
Yeah.
Get her on the phone.
Ring, ring, ring. OP. I've got a plan for you.
Got a plan for you. We'll take care of everything. Don't worry, darling. This was a low blow as they knew well in advance that they haven't saved a cent in over 2 years. The plot thickens, though, as them dropping out last minute wasn't bad news enough. My husband had initially proposed to me with a ring that was sentimental but wasn't real. He was in the process of having a custom ring made and went through my cousins as they worked in a jewelry shop. Oh no, I don't like where this is going. They had found a very stunning, rare, vivid canary diamond in the same color as the bridesmaids' dresses and was having this ring custom made along with the wedding band. In fact, we were purchasing all our jewelry for the wedding there. He had purchased some 1-carat earrings for me on my birthday in August 2024. We had been to the jewelry store a few times to check on the progress of the ring and shop for a few items. When my cousins dropped out, I was definitely upset as I couldn't understand why they wouldn't have saved $1 and lead me on that they were coming for 2 years up to this moment. But it also worried me as there was a heated argument about why they let it go so long knowing that they didn't save and hadn't planned on attending. Soon, the owner of the shop called us to tell us that the ring was ready, so we went to pick them up. The owner was always very nice and asked if we were excited that it was finally getting so close. I told him, of course, and he asked if my cousins were excited as well, as he knew that they were standing. That's when I told him, no, they're no longer coming. There wasn't anything said more than that on the topic. Yeah, can you imagine? He's just like, oh, okay.
They're
No
not
more
coming.
questions.
No
more
one's
questions.
coming.
No worries. No worries. It's like, no, they dropped out. I didn't uninvite them. They're
They're gone.
dipped. That's on them. Yeah. He was excited to show us the finished ring and go over the design for the wedding band. But that's when all heck breaks loose.
Oh.
My cousin blows up on me, accusing me of going into her work and that I'm awful for disclosing their financial state.
What?
I literally just went to pick the ring and size the wedding band and answered one question. I never said why they bailed or even said anything negative about them, and definitely didn't mention any financials to their boss. This has now caused a rift down my side of the family, half siding with my cousins and the other with me. I was accused of being selfish for expecting people to spend thousands to attend my wedding, even though they also get a beautiful week-long vacation with 3 years' notice to save. What they failed to realize is I wasn't mad that they weren't attending. I get it. I was mad that they led me on for more than 2 years like they were going, knowing that the whole time they never saved even a cent to try and go and planned the dress shopping and weekend trip. And to remind you, my fiance's side of the family all saved to attend, and they aren't nearly as well off as my side of the family. So I'm in a panic now, as I have 2 bridesmaids left, one being my 13-year-old daughter and my sister/maid of honor, compared to my husband's side that had 5. And the sister that doesn't even want to like wear the bridesmaid's dress.
I think we just go with your daughter, you know?
Honestly.
Your husband's 5, you got 1, it's okay.
Or
Everyone's
just
like, where is
recruit
everyone?
some of
You're
the
like,
guys over.
Yeah.
Put them in yellow.
Bumble BFF.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids. Oh yeah, honestly, yeah. Just put some of the guys on your side.
Yeah. I asked one of my good friends from childhood who was attending if she wanted to stand, and she was happy to. But my sister saw the desperation and made her move for control. My maid of honor/sister knows that I was stressing about the whole cousin situation and lack of bridesmaids all of a sudden, and makes her own power move. She now utterly refuses to wear that color as she doesn't think it would look good on her. And I'm crushed. And out of fear of losing another bridesmaid, I give in to her demands. My husband was so angry because the color had meaning, matched the engagement ring, and he had put a lot of thought and work into the groomsmen outfits, but he saw the amount of stress that I was under, but didn't want to add to it. So he bit his tongue and let it go. He waited until my sister found a color that she wanted, as the groomsmen ties were to match their dresses, and he had also changed the shoes of his groomsmen to match the color my sister wanted. This pisses me off. I'm sorry. Not only does she just want to wear a different color, now everyone else has to match her. No, absolutely not. No, you have to have stern words with this sister and be like, girl, what do you think a bridesmaid is?
Yeah.
You don't get to just pick a dress.
The problem is that OP is so like, I mean, not unfairly, but worried about optics of her wedding and like how it'll look for her to have, you know, only one bridesmaid, which, you know, it's a fair worry. I think a lot of people wouldn't want to have to deal with questions about that and stuff. But like, don't worry about the optics more than having fun and doing what you want on your wedding day.
Yeah, and such a special color, especially if it had meaning and it'll match the ring. And then maybe if they got flowers that match too, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Makes me so mad. Oh my gosh. We had informed everyone that we were going to upgrade to Diamond Club as well as the kids at the resort. We wanted to experience the best amenities at the resort as this is our wedding. My husband's son, 17, recently started dating a really nice girl, also 17, and we noticed that it was serious. We had already planned on getting the kids a separate room for the trip as well, as we wanted our space and privacy. We extended her an invite only 8 months before the wedding. Not only did she work and save while being a full-time student to attend, but she also upgraded to Diamond Club as it was only about $300 to do so, showing that it was a very feasible thing to do if someone truly wanted to. My husband's entire side upgraded as they want to be in the same area as us and also experience the better amenities of the resort. Mind you, my husband's side of the family is not nearly as well off as my side, but they felt with all the notice for the trip, it wouldn't be a problem. But not my sister/mother-in-law. No way. Mind you, she's 41, lives at home with my mom. She has no kids, no pets, no debt, and frequently takes lavish trips several times a year and makes well over $100K, including booking a week-long retreat a few days after we returned from this trip to a spa for about $3,000. Oh, wow. We arrived at the resort on a Monday with his family, and my side arrived on the Tuesday, and we had made arrangements to have a welcome dinner with everyone at the resort. I sat next to my sister, who was complaining about her awful experience at check-in. I had told her that if she had upgraded to Diamond Club, there was a different experience, as there was a lounge they drove you to and had full bar and food waiting while they dropped your bags off to your room. It was a very different experience than waiting in line to check in during March break. This set her off on what would be a week of selfish behavior. She had thrown in my face that we were getting a kickback from the travel agent for booking such a large party, and that's the only reason that we got an upgrade. I assured her, kickback or not, we would have upgraded. Also, would she not be like included, or was it just them that got the little discount on the upgrade?
I'm not quite sure.
I don't know either. The kickback is about $3,500, and the total cost of our trip with 2 Diamond Club rooms and the wedding was well over $2,300 that him and I paid for alone. Not that it's even relevant to how she was acting in the beginning of her bad behavior. I told her the idea that we wouldn't have upgraded without that was nonsense. My now husband is an engineer and truly brilliant and successful man. He has taken me on a few trips, and I remember our first trip together to Vegas, he insisted on renting a Corvette convertible. When we went to Cuba, he wanted to upgrade to a suite, and I wasn't sure, and he told me no worries, he would cover the cost. We had a 2-story suite with a private hot tub and ocean view. We flew to Cancun for Christmas 2024, and he flew us business class and upgraded our room again. Even the engagement ring that he made was well over $15K without the wedding band. And it's so sad that the dresses don't match.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
I'll literally fight someone over that. Oh
I'll
my
fight.
gosh.
I'll fight.
I'll physically throw down. Mind you, I also make very good money and usually pay my half, but he always spoils me with the extras. So to insinuate that we wouldn't have upgraded is utter nonsense, because that's the way my hubby likes to travel. Plus, the upgrade was only $300 and was well worth it, as my hubby pointed out that he drank all the John Julio on the whole resort with his groomsmen. The following morning, my sister found us at the Diamond Club beach with the rest of the wedding party. She pulled me aside and said she was feeling better. I regret even telling her about the kickback if she was going to try and throw it in my face. My sister has no history of mental illness or depression or anything along those lines. She looks me straight in the face 2 days before my wedding and tells me that she's self-harming. And she also told me that she couldn't be excited for my next big steps, being married or having kids and starting a family. I told her that this is utterly ridiculous, as we are all here for a good time. But she can go to her section of the resort, because I'm not letting her ruin this trip.
Whoa.
I have very mixed feelings.
Weird interaction there.
Weird interaction.
Weird.
Because on one hand, I'm like, well, how can we confirm that she's like not being, like not telling the truth?
Yeah.
And if she's telling the truth, then like,
OP
not
just
a
was
good
like,
way to
well,
respond.
I don't know. Go.
Just like suck it, walk it
Go
off.
deal with that on the other side of the resort.
Yeah, can you just like be happy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh man. But
one of them is not great.
Yeah, there's like 2 outcomes in this
Yeah.
situation, and they're both possibly in the wrong.
Big time.
Yeah. I'm gonna move on from that. That evening, we had an all-white party at one of the restaurants for the wedding group. My sister was at my table with her boyfriend, and the best man and his girlfriend, and my mother with my now husband. My sister sat there with her arms crossed while the rest of us all talked and laughed and enjoyed ourselves, especially my mom, because when my husband referred to her as mom, she was beaming. I tried to get my sister to engage by asking her to take a picture of me and my husband, and man, if looks could unalive someone, I think we both would have passed away. To the point that other people at the dinner started asking me, what's wrong with your sister? I couldn't even give them a real answer and just played it off. because I'm not sure if it was jealousy or what. I had a few other things to do for the wedding. Guest cards with bottles of sand from the beach with personalized notes. It's so thoughtful. My maid of honor didn't help with anything. In fact, she revealed the fact that she did nothing to help as my maid of honor with anything in the entire process. In fact, my husband helped me with every maid of honor duty because she would literally pick a fight anytime I asked for any help planning. Yeah, that's when you just go like, okay, you're just not the maid of honor anymore.
Not the maid of honor.
You don't get to stand.
You're
but
making
like,
it really difficult, so you don't
So
get that
difficult.
job anymore.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. She even dropped her dress off to me to steam for the wedding.
No, I'm not a freaking laundromat.
And then that's when you get the yellow dress.
I'm not the cleaners.
Put
Yeah,
the
that's-
yellow dress in the garment bag and be
Yeah.
like, all right, it's all ready for you.
It's already for
And then
you.
give her that. And then she's
And you
like,
go, oh.
I burned the other dress.
Yeah.
I-
No, she goes, this is the right dress. So you go, oh,
Like, sorry.
I don't know what happened.
I
It
must
must
have-
have dyed it in the wash.
Yeah, sorry. Oh,
Sorry.
Gosh. Oh, man. His cup was getting full as he had bitten his tongue many times during this whole process. The morning of the wedding, we are getting ready in my mother-in-law's room. My sister was with me at my final dress fitting, which the tailor at the dress store showed my sister how to do up my bustle for the train of my dress. My sister didn't bother to listen, take notes, a
Dude.
picture or a video, or really any effort. She had no clue how to do it up. Fortunately, my mom and mother-in-law and bridesmaids worked it out. Thank goodness, as I was finally losing all patience with my sister. The wedding was perfect. My husband was perfect. The weather was perfect and everything was perfect. It wasn't until we got back home that my husband mentioned my sister's speech that I didn't really pick up on until I rewatched it at home. Oh no. He and several guests noticed that her speech was very self-oriented and didn't welcome my husband or his kids into our family and was very much more about her as she tried to make everything about her in one way or another. My husband didn't say anything then because the day wasn't about her. It was about us and our love. Fortunately, his best man gave an amazing speech along with both of our mothers. My sister and I's relationship has been damaged beyond repair from the whole ordeal and probably won't ever fully recover.
I mean, probably would have been okay
Yeah.
if we hadn't made her the maid of honor. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
after the whole thing with the crown and her trying to get her way with the dress color, I would have been like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go with my daughter.
Yeah.
She's cool. She listens to me.
Right.
You're no longer my
Like-
maid of honor. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then she could come to the wedding and everything would be chill.
Yeah.
Or she could even be a bridesmaid.
Or she
We just
like-
don't listen to her.
Yeah, she
just
probably
gets to
would try to
talk.
find some sort of way to like get attention, but at least she wouldn't have like the attention that a maid of honor gets.
Yeah,
'cause that's
yeah.
usually pretty.
Yeah, we don't want to give her
Strong.
that type of attention. No, no, no.
Exactly. To the point that my husband and I went to talk to a therapist to get an outside perspective. He basically labeled her an insane, self-absorbed person, a woman who has a lot of growing up to do. My husband wanted to confront her as he justifiably should, but for the sake of not adding stress onto me, he bit his tongue again. His only request is distance from her, and
Phew.
I fully agree. There's more to add on an update, but I'll end this here, and hopefully Charlotte reads this tale. P.S. My husband was also the best maid of honor I could have asked for. Oh, wait, we have a little update. Wait a second. Big news alert. We've got an update.
What?
Oh.
Big news.
Then on to the update we go. It had been nearly 8 weeks since we returned from the wedding. My sister and I had a falling out after we got home as we found out that our estranged father had passed away.
Ooh.
Whoa, big news. He abandoned us when we were children, and neither her nor I had spoken to him in any fashion in over a decade. In fact, I've never even received a single present, birthday or Christmas, or even a card from him in my entire life. My husband and I only truly have one regret in our wedding, and that was that we changed the theme and color due to my sister's demands.
Yeah.
Other than that, married life has been great. We are closer than ever, and I couldn't be happier with my husband, my kiddos, and the direction of our lives. His mother, my mother, and most of his family and groomsmen feel that my sister is hugely jealous. Younger sister getting married first can cause some type of feelings. My sister was engaged before, but the guy was kind of a bum. Couldn't hold a job, She had to buy her own engagement ring, and she eventually left him because he was a heavy drinker and wouldn't get help. My husband has all the reason to hold a grudge against her because he saw the additional stress that she caused. My now husband, when he first met my sister, cooked us dinner and tried his best to get off on a good foot with her. She judged him from day one before knowing him. He's a well-built, tall, brown, and handsome man. He has a lot of tattoos, all classy and with much thought and meaning. She labeled him a thug, though, and he's never been in trouble. I'm pretty sure he was never suspended from school. He was a graduated engineer that was a chef before that. I consider myself lucky. He's the best cook I've ever met, and he's extremely handy as he has built the majority of our house with his own 2 hands.
Love to see it.
That's beautiful. And we have built up a whole collection of full episodes with more stories just like this one from the ground up with our bare hands, and our strong voices and opinions. All you have to do is go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. Do it.
And I have no new thoughts.
No new thoughts. Yeah, there is a little bit more to the story.
Take it home.
but
Let's take her home.
Let's take it home. Yeah, just the sister, man. It's just sister, just boo. Just seems like she's just not happy with how her life is gone.
Yeah, she needs to sort
and
that out.
Is not happy that someone else is happy, especially her younger sister.
Yeah.
And there's always like a dynamic there. And it's just boo, man. Just be
Boo.
happy for your freaking sister. Wear
Come
yellow. It's not that
on.
hard.
Come on.
Also, I don't hold any grudges with my cousins. My husband is a good Christian man and has told me to forgive and move on. To not hold on to those feelings as they just spoil other great things that we have going on. Yet I can't say that I have forgiven my sister yet. And if the day comes where I can forgive her, I will never forget. And I know our relationship will never be the same. He still wants to confront her and set the boundaries moving forward, but respects my wishes on just leaving it as a no contact situation for now. Am I the a-hole for not speaking to my sister after all of this? What's our answer?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
No.
I think you could try and figure it out maybe, but give it some time. She's causing a mess.
Yeah.
Maybe when she gets her life in a little bit of a better place, but right now it's just a mess.
But that is the end of that story.